Here we go, back at it again. Not too much, Jamie. How's it going? Basically, just had a little conversation with my parents and ate some beans, and now I'm playing some Apex Legends. Ah, fuck. But decided to move the PlayStation back to my room, and it's really laggy, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to actually play Apex Legends. You doing okay? Yeah, I'm doing okay. A little edgy, but I'm doing okay. Basically, just feeling life a little bit, but I'm okay. And nothing much. Just a reminder that, getting kicked out in like a year and it's like, clean up after yourself, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I do, but I guess not enough for their standards. Stuff like that. Just a little bit of like a little bit annoying things to just kind of like, but nothing too annoying. Basically my mood's just a little bit killed. But but nonetheless, it's fine. It's just a little bit like ticked off at my parents. Not at my parents, mainly my brother. I'm ticked off at, but ticked off that my parents bringing me into this bullshit my brother is always doing. Take a hit. I just took a few hits. I'm good basically at the moment. So the internet's so shitty in my room though. Let's try playing Fortnite. Maybe I can play Fortnite. Fortnite doesn't take as much Wi-Fi as Apex does. Then we can just try playing Horizon Zero Dawn because that doesn't require any at all. But that also wouldn't have a headset on, so I wouldn't be able to tell what the story is. Not that I really pay attention to the story much. Hmm. Checking for updates. Oh yeah, it's gonna be checking for updates for all day. There is no fucking internet in my room. Yeah, I can stream the game, and I was gonna do that actually tonight. But you have to watch through Twitch, unfortunately, not through YouTube. But YouTube's just sorry, not YouTube. The internet's just being god awful right now, so I don't think I'm gonna be playing anything really. Yeah, it looks like. What's your Twitch? Basically the same thing. It's just antisocial, but without dash and then F list. So antisocial F list. Hmm. Followed my dude. Oh man, hell yeah. Let's bring my mood to a better level by just distracting myself with the internet.
Alright. Response video to some putz called Math Geek. I only watched a minute of his video and said, yeah, this guy needs a response. I'm just so sick of these ballless wonders. So the video is going to be a surprise to me too.
Christopher Titus? No, but I guess we're about to watch Christopher
Alright, it's a
Titus.
trap. Nihilism is a trap. One critical disadvantage about the end of the metaphysical views is that the individual looks at his own short lifespan too. The eye feels it. Well, couldn't read it all.
Hey, Amanda. This is Matthew.
But we're supposed to be metaphysical.
I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone. I'm trying to slay you, and I'm going to slay a red beetle at the same time.
Yeah, righto. What you're going to do is poop your little pants.
For those of you who don't know, Red Beetle is a Calvinist Christian. I watched several of his videos on the philosophy of Nietzsche. His overall general impression that Nietzsche hated Christianity is correct, but the guy is quote mining at best. And
yeah, but who cares?
The quote I put at the start of the video was one that he mined out of Nietzsche's book, All Too Human. And basically he said that atheism has no interest in propagating good, solid foundation, which I think is wrong. And
well, it's just an idiotic statement on its face. Atheism is just a description of a philosophical consequence. If you believe there's a God, then you have one philosophy. If you don't believe that an intelligence created the universe, you're stuck with evolution. You're stuck with consumption and reproduction. You're stuck with no inspired idea, no intelligence saying this is a good idea. Just dumb fucking forces of creation.
To sort this back in Amendum is looking like the typical conception of an atheist that a Christian would have. Honestly, I watched a number of Amendum's videos.
He's not
well,
wrong.
I guess I really should be in some ways, and it's completely irrelevant, though. It's a description of the truth. Perceiving each other is pointless. Most Christians are just lying assholes anyway. They don't have any real faith because they obviously don't invest in their fucking religion. That's why they're capable of sin. If I actually believed that God existed, I would not live their idiotic lives. They compromise every principle in the Bible every fucking day. They don't even know what the word repent actually means. They say, I'm just going to rub some beads and it's all okay. Or I'm going to dip my head in some water and I'm all forgiven. It doesn't work that fucking way. So whatever. It's about philosophy, asshole. You wanna play psychology games. That's your prerogative. But argue the philosophy. All right. This bullshit that you're gonna sit there and pigeonhole my psychology. Fuck you.
Yeah, and in one of Amendum's videos, which I think
Takes
is brilliant,
the cigarette.
his philosophy reeks completely of Nietzsche. And the fact that we are like machines,
We hate
biological
Nietzsche.
machines that were a slave to a molecule.
Yeah, well, that's Dawkins too. There's a lot of people that obviously the truth becomes apparent to a lot of people. If you want to sit there and say people are plagiarizing each other or picking or mining or doing this other kind of crap, no. It's what people observe when they make their observation. He could be on one side of the elephant, I could be on the other side of the elephant, and we're going to describe the elephant, asshole.
Really no point beyond this. It completely reeks of maybe not Nietzsche directly, but a lot of this kind of slide into quote-unquote postmodernism that the Christians have given us. And I see this in Amendum's character, and Amendum needs to wake the fuck up. He's a big baby.
Yeah, and you're a big fucking fat douchebag. Fuck you.
He whines and he complains and...
Yeah, why don't you quote his whine and his complaint? Quote him. Have enough. Find your ball somewhere. Reach down. Put your hand up your fucking ass and see if you can find your fucking balls and pull them the fuck out of there and see if you can grow enough fucking goddamn integrity to quote me, you motherfucking weasel.
He makes these 10-minute long videos that are just him rambling like crazy.
Yeah, quote the ramble then, you little fucking goddamn prick. How thick is the average book written by the average philosopher? Does it take more than 10 minutes to read that fucking book? Does it, you dumb ass? I mean, I hear Atlas Shrugged or whatever. It's like, what, 2,500 pages or something? Oh, there's a dumbass philosophy saying selfishness is good. So fuck you.
Rambling, depressed, being full of despair and despondency.
Yeah, right. Try to refute it, all right? Quote it, you little fucking god, you big fucking fat smelly weasel. Quote me, you fucking cunt.
He just gets so angry. I love it.
Wakes up the next day. He, in a way, is the walking contradiction that dominates the mind of the serious Christian, the one that thinks that scientific atheism, quote unquote, is what's driving us into the ground. But what Red Beetle failed to pick up on was the fact that he believed Christianity had already broken the
He's really all of us deep
soul.
inside. Yeah,
Excuse me, the
basically.
Who the fuck cares about all
He's
this
just
nonsense?
we just want to
Christianity is
yell.
nonsense. It's a 2,000-year-old fable. End of the story. You want to make some sort of comparison that I am deliberately contriving when I say, yeah, well, we're basically based on a molecular design, a reproducing molecule design. And the molecule had no other agenda besides consumption and reproduction. Now, do you have a counter argument to that description of reality, that ramble describing reality? If you have a counter argument, please provide it, asshole. Otherwise, shut the fuck up.
Spirit, quote unquote, of mankind. He makes the comparison with the Greek pantheon. Yes, that even after Greece, even after the society gave up the pantheon, they had their turmoil, but eventually that got over it. He's made the point that Christianity is so further beyond that it has crushed us.
Who the fuck cares? Again, what does this have to do with anything? Christianity is nothing but it's astrology. It's an old fucking primitive theory on how human beings, what their life was, how they exist. Dumb, ignorant people came up with a dumb, ignorant theory. Period. End of the fucking story. Stupid, moronic culture decided to build totem poles to that nonsense and say you can never touch the totem pole. Period. End of the story. This is not that fucking complicated, asshole. So there's a bunch of modern day people praying to a dumb, stupid, archaic, moronic, old idea because they glorified it, because they made it a permanent fixture of their identity. Not that complicated. So get to a fucking reasonable point to justify your accusations regarding my content, fucking weasel.
We got rid of Christianity, the growing pains would be much worse and create this slide downward. So back to Amendum. Amendum is just kind of this character that Christians like Red Beetle like to portray. And I think Amendum's despondency, Amendum's baby-like insanity is driving this Christian point.
Yeah, and you're empty, vacant. There's no word for how immature it is.
We're done with that. Let's watch. What the fuck?
I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Stolen documents, refusing to give them back, then saying, what stolen documents? Yep, we're talking about Trump again. Aren't you Republicans tired of this hump? I mean, hell, next time just vote for a better criminal, okay? This guy even crimes lame. Like, if you read the indictment, you know that includes evidence Trump took documents about our nuclear programs. Yeah, in issues where we're weak to attack and where our allies are.
We're gonna watch part of this.
Hey, we're releasing another stand-up special. This one specifically for all you parents out there with kids at home, born with a defect. One of my favorites. I don't even think my ex. I think my ex might have brought this one up in court too. Enjoy it, people. It's one of my favorites. You'll get it. If you have children, it's therapy. If you don't have children, it is 90 minutes of birth control.
His inner retard is great.
Let's end this.
Oh man. Let's find out.
Okay, all right, that's enough. I have a show to do. I've never talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it now. I was born with a defect. I was actually born a child, and I don't understand
Same,
how
man.
human beings run anything. We're the only species born without ability or instinct. Every other animal has it. Dolphin swims for its first breath. Deer walks in an hour. Human child needs 2 adults around it for 5 years so it doesn't choke on a Cheerio. If babies didn't smile cute, they would be food. Babies are worth it. There's nothing there. Having a baby is like buying a laptop that won't turn on and shits itself. We can't even survive for the first couple years unless someone's ramming a nipple in our face every 2 hours. I still feel like that to this day. Anyone else?
Oh man.
Yeah, thank you. But if it's a boy child, nipples rammed in too often, has a problem with women later in life. And if it's a girl child, nipples rammed in too often, she experiments in college. You know what you did. Every other animal on the planet has fear programmed. We invented the X Games. Every other animal, here's a combine going through a cornfield. Here's that motor, hides in a hole. Human toddler, here's a combine going through a cornfield, runs in front of it and goes, Daddy, truck! Ah, damn it, gotta clean out the chute again. That's right, joke number 5, we chopped up a child in a combine. Are you guys ready? Good, 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 yay! Woo! All right, every other animal on the planet is instinctively afraid of fire. Human beings learn about fire by touching fire. That's defective. How did we get the keys to this planet? Now, my brother learned about fire when he was 10 because 10-year-old boys are just pyromaniac puppies with opposable thumbs. And we had a real cool uncle growing up. Remember that cool uncle we all had? He was so cool when you were a kid. Then you became an adult and realized someone should have called child services. Hey, here's a magazine. Put that under your bed. Don't tell your dad, huh? Hey, you ever try 120 proof whiskey? Don't tell your dad, huh? Don't sign anything from the goddamn government. I sign your dad's name. Don't tell your dad, huh? That uncle? He would do like the thumb trick. Not the thumb, not the other.
We all
not
have
the
that
other
uncle.
That's no. He would do the magic trick. But as we got older, my family, uncle started giving us criminal knowledge at barbecues. And we were always hanging out with him, and the adults weren't there because I guess in case they had to testify. I don't know why. And one day my uncle just comes out on 4th of July with this giant can of bug spray. And he goes, kids, you guys know bug spray's flammable? Don't tell your dad. Pulls a lighter and just goes. And we were little kids, we're like, that's the coolest thing we've ever seen. And now as an adult, I realize it's also how they train ISIS. But you can't show little kids this. So this knowledge beats around my brother's head for 3 months. And then one day in the backyard, it pops like a stupidity zit. And we had these giant concrete planters in our backyard that my dad had stolen from work. Or his dad said, it ain't stealing if they ain't using them. Then why are we picking them up at midnight, Dad? Because they ain't using them, dumbass. Yeah, some of these jokes Dad wrote when he was alive. So my brother gets this big giant can of bug napalm, starts filling up this planter with mist, and he's throwing matches into it, and it was working. It was like a Kiss concert in the backyard. Without the 55-year-old women flashing their boobs, oh my God. Yeah, hey, there's a day for all of us to keep our shirts down. And if you don't know that day, ask a friend, they'll be honest. I have to do a little sidebar. I actually did a show about 4 years ago up in Northern California for Michael Anthony and Sammy Hagar. Then we opened this big thing for a radio station. It's 15,000 seats. I go out, I'm doing jokes. In the middle of me doing jokes, some 450-pound, 60-year-old woman just goes, ah!
I think it's decent. It's not the most funny. My favorite comedian is fucking forget his name.
But it is hard to tell jokes with puke in your mouth.
But we can watch my favorite comedian here in a little bit. This is I like him so far.
He's a 10-year-old boy, so he wants some more pyrotechnic knowledge because he knows one day he may be a warlock. He snaps a branch off a tree, makes a fuse out of it, strips it all down, puts it in the bottom of the planter, coats in this horrible, toxic, cancer-causing bug juice, fills it with mist again, and he's going to light it. But before he lights it, he wants to see what's going to happen. So he takes his face and he puts it in the planter. And this is why I'm pissed YouTube didn't exist when I was a child. Because this is sponsorship money right here. And he lights it, and before he can move a millimeter, he goes, shh. Yeah. And when he stood up, he was tan, eyebrowless, and the center part of his hair right here was missing. He looked like a 10-year-old middle-aged accountant with hair plugs, just ash on top of his head. And I come home like an hour later, and he's freaking out. Oh my God, look what I did, Dad's gonna kill me. And I'm the older brother. I said, calm down, Dad is gonna kill you. But why stress if you know it's gonna happen?
Yeah, why stress if you know it's gonna happen?
Disfigured yourself. Like we can't like shave the dog and make a tiny toupee. It's gonna look stupid. I mean, I'll get out a Sharpie and draw on your eyebrows, but you're gonna look like a pirate on chemo. That's all I'm gonna say. Remember when you were a kid and you committed that household felony out there? The big one. I'm talking the big one. You had a water fight in the house with the
Pirate on chemo.
drywall had to be replaced. Threw a firecracker in the toilet just to see what's gonna happen. Gave one of your friends antifreeze and told him it was Gatorade. Had to watch the EMTs drive off to get his stomach pumped. And you knew parents had been called. And all you had to do was wait for Dad. And I wasn't in trouble, so it was fun. I got to observe. And you could see the stress tumors metastasizing in my brother as it got closer. And at 5:30, he heard the car pull in the driveway. And I didn't know, my brother took it like a man. He went and stood right in front of the front door, just... he looked like a guy on death row in a Johnny Cash song. Just, I'm going to have to pay for what I've done. my father opens the door, puts his briefcase down, looks at my brother and goes... and my brother goes, Dad, let me tell you what happened. I don't care what happened. Whatever you did, you paid for it. Don't do it again, goddammit. We're idiots. As a species, it's just we're idiots. And I'm a father, which just, just was a mistake. And frightens people. When I tell people I have kids, they don't go, boys or girls? They go, really?
Really?
They okay? Compared to me, yeah. I have 2 kids, 2 marriages, and a parade of stress polyps in my colon having a rave. And if you're a parent tonight, you know what a joy having children is. And if you're a parent tonight, you know it's hard to say that sentence without laughing. Every parent in this room at one point has stared into their children's yellow, hazy, sugar-fueled eyes and thought, I was tricked. I could have been something.
Could have
Next thing
been
you know, I'm punching
something.
my mom in the throat. And that's where love comes from. And I want to be clear, I do love my kids because I hate jail. And this is about the time of the show where women start to get a little stink face going on. They're like, oh my God, what's he talking about? Kids are great. What is he talking about? They're amazing. They're little Jesus tears. That's what they are. No, not at all. No. They're little Jesus hemorrhoids. That's what they are. That's all they are. They are painful, annoying, and hard to get rid of. I described a hemorrhoid. That's a hemorrhoid. All right, let me ask you, parents who actually think their kids just rule the world, are the greatest thing ever. When's the last time your kid walked in the room and said, Mom, Dad, can I help you with anything? Mom, Dad, what would you like for Christmas? Do you realize if you had a friend that borrowed $20 from you so we could go out and buy you a shitty birthday present, you would stab him in the face with a fork? Yeah, I want to be clear about what tonight's show is going to be about. If you are a parent, tonight's show is therapy. If you don't have kids, tonight's show is 90 minutes of birth control. You're welcome. You are welcome. They're horrible, man. Having your kid is like putting all your money into asbestos. Dangerous, causes disease, and if it's yours, you're liable for it. They're just little disease-filled skin bags passing on to you every disease that's floating through its preschool, man. Preschool, just a viral hot zone full of patient zeros. That's all it is. A room full of tiny sociopathic humans who can play board games while sitting in their own feces. That's mental patient behavior. And every parent in this room at one point has had a sick kid and sent it to school anyway. Yeah, I know you people without kids are thinking that's horrible, that's irresponsible. Well, maybe, but also sometimes you need a couple fucking hours. The problem is every other parent did the same thing, or that joke would have gotten one laugh, and we would have beat the hell out of that person for making our kids sick. The problem is we all send them to school, put them in one room, see what kind of a bowl of cocktail they could come up with. I'm not worried about terrorists coming for the super plague. I'm worried about it being weaponized at nap time. That's when it's going to get weird. You know who's going to survive the apocalypse? Cockroaches and kindergarten teachers. Because their immune system is just amazing. Knock her down, we got to get the antidote. They're horrible. And why is every little kid under 6 always oozing something? What the hell is coming out of them? It's not a solid, it's not a liquid, it's nowhere on the element chart. What is it? How come every kid under 6 is just a little bit steamy? You ever touch a little kid like, trying to put your hand up, trying to get Velcro off a poodle. Yeah. What the hell is on you? There's nothing on it. And they love it. Whatever goo that is, they love it. They love it. They love it. I can prove it. Try to wipe any kid under 6 with a napkin. It's like you pepper sprayed them. How effective is that? You're literally covered in a slime that can wipe out an indigenous people. Keep eating your fucking cookie. That joke came from a real place. I was doing bills one night. I was doing all the bills, and I did all of like the household bills, and I did my wife and I bills, and then I did the kid bills, and there was more kid bills than adult bills. And I went to a bad place, and I was walking through the house, and I walked past the living room where my kids were, and they weren't digging ditches or putting an addition on the house. They were on the couch, wrapped in blankets, eating a tray of cookies in front of them. And I just stopped and look at you. Sitting there eating your fucking cookies. And then in my head went, back out of the room. You don't want to be on the news like this. These little disease-filled skin bags, I want you to hug it. That's all they are. People complain all the time, I wasn't hugged enough as a child. I had to go to therapy. Hug you till you were 10. You were a pathogen with legs, man. Like, between 1 and 3, all of us were just war crimes in plastic pants. That's all we were. And I don't care if you have kids or not. Everybody in this room at one point has walked into someone else's house who has kids and said this sentence. What is that smell? And I don't mean the baby smelling the little talcum powder. That's kind of cute. I mean once they hit the larva stage.
The larva
Stage. The first
stage.
time it happened to me, my son was 7. I walked in there, and you weren't ready for it. I didn't know what the hell it was. I walked in there, Honey, call State Farm. We have toxic mold. Everyone get their masks on. We're going to be Japanese for a couple weeks. You hear that pause? That was that pause. You guys checked to see if that joke was racist. You went hot. Don't worry, I got this. Relax, I cleared it. You know, whenever I see 12 Japanese people in the airport with masks on, I never think that is so cute culturally. I always think, what the hell do they know? And I'm going to go down to the Rosetta Stone kiosk and get some goddamn answers. So you walk into the house as a parent, and you're thinking, okay, what is that smell? Oh, I know what that smell is. That smell is one of the tiny pets that disappeared. Because when they're little, you can't talk about death. When a pet dies when they're little, it's like a mob hit. Daddy, what happened to Mr. Pickles? Mr. Pickles got a job downstate. Why are you asking so many questions? How about you go in the other room and eat your fucking cookie? How about that? How about that? then you're walking behind saying, okay, I know what I'm looking for now. I am looking for a guinea pig corpse. That's what I'm looking for. And then after a while, you think, you know what, that smells too big. I can't, maybe someone left a tuna fish sandwich in the vagina of a sperm whale. Yeah, that one's a little tart, isn't it? That one? Yeah. One of those special laughs.
Okay, Jimmy, we're changing it up. We're watching some Joe List.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe List.
My favorite comedy special.
Oh, thank you. That was way too much. I feel like everyone's aware that that was too much. There was definitely a moment where collectively everyone was like, I think we're overdoing it a little bit. I appreciate it. That was nice. Some of you, I felt like that was more about you than it was me, to be honest. I feel like a couple of you are like, I'm gonna be the guy. You're gonna hear me. At least 4 of you are like, I can't wait to watch this because I'm gonna point out my voice going, hey!
Hey,
That's fair. Good to be here in New York. I said it like I'm visiting. I live here. It's nice to live here. I travel all the time, every week. I hate flying. I get very anxious when I fly. I'm not afraid of a crash. I'm afraid of a conversation. That's what I hate about flying. I was on a plane the other day. The guy next to me was like, what do you do? And I was like, I mind my own business on airplanes. That's First of all, you're sitting too close together to have a conversation. The guy's trying to make eye contact. We're just staring at each other from this distance. I'm like, I could kiss you without using a neck muscle. That's how close you are. I was on a plane the other day. The guy next to me was eating a lollipop. Don't you think that's an inappropriate airplane food? A lollipop? It's too noisy. He's like, I was like, sir, you're turning me on. Could you relax a little bit? They don't even sell lollipops at the airport. That's a from home lollipop. That guy got a lollipop. He's like, I'm gonna hold on to this until I fly. I wanna make sure I have that 3 inches from somebody's ear. I don't even know where you get a lollipop, by the way. Outside of a bank and a doctor's office, they don't sell them, do they? If you gave me $10 right now and you were like, go get me a lollipop, I would come back a week from now with my shirt torn and be like, I couldn't do it. I don't know. I hate everybody on every plane. We all hate each other, though. That's not exclusive to me. We all hate each other. You know everyone hates each other on the airplane? Because as you're boarding the airplane, everyone just stares at you, dead in the face, angrily. The whole flight's just... That's the only time as a society we're not looking at our phone. Everyone's like, let's put our phones away and look upset at everybody else on this airplane. I hate it, but I do it too. I'm just as guilty.
Same.
As soon as I sit down, I'm like, look at this fucking idiot getting on the plane. What? Back there. It doesn't matter where you are on the plane. You feel better than everybody behind you, don't you? You could be in the second to last row. There's one guy behind you, like, what a fucking idiot back there. Embarrassing, loser. Last row. I was on a plane the other day. I hated the guy behind me. He kept yawning out loud the whole flight. Am I a psycho or is that annoying? The whole flight, he's like, for like 5 hours. I wanted him to die. I swear to God. I was like, I hope this guy passes away on the flight. First of all, you don't need to make a noise when you yawn. That's a decision. He's deciding to do that. It's like if you were hungry on a plane, you were like, I'm hungry! Well, you all right? Yeah, I'm hungry. I like to let people know when I'm hungry. I think it's important for people to know that. People yawn out loud, they want attention. That's why they're doing it. They want you to be like, oh my God, are you tired? And they're like, I am. Here's my entire life story of how I came to be tired. Don't fall for it. It's a trap. Plus, isn't it fun to not ask somebody a question when they really want you to ask them a question? You ever do that when someone's like, I had a wild night last night, and then you're like, neat, and then you just walk away?
Neat.
That's like one of my favorite things to do. Just tell me your shitty story. Don't make me ask for it. I flew recently. I was at the airport, LaGuardia Airport here in New York. That's my home airport. I was walking to the terminal. They were playing Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N'
This
Roses
guy's funny, but I'm also
at the airport.
Yo, this is my favorite comedian.
That's a weird
He's
airport song.
funny
I'm a
as
rock and
fuck.
roll guy. I love Guns N' Roses. I'm cool, but it's a little much at the airport. I'm walking to the terminal. I just hear da-da-da-da-da-da-da-down, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, hey, can we cool it down a little bit? It's 7:30 a.m. I'm eating a muffin, looking for an outlet. I don't think we need to rock this hard. Also, it's a little unnerving to be boarding a flight and hear, you're gonna die! Like, shit, am I? They play Knocking on Heaven's Door next. I'm never flying again. You know?
on heavens. No.
I do fly every week, though. Pretty much, literally every week. I get upgraded a lot. That's the nice thing about flying all the time. I got upgraded recently. My wife and I, both of us, like we have 2 tickets in first class.
Yo,
Not together,
Carlin
is that okay?
really
Like,
great,
100%.
but he's also dead. So this is my favorite live.
I feel like I won't hurt your feelings. I love my wife. I'm joking. I love my wife.
I guess
You gotta take
George
first class, you can
Carlin's
get
my
it.
favorite, but he's.
They could be like, we have 2
amazing.
tickets in first class, but you have to get divorced to have them. I would be like, baby, we had a great run. I love you. Come on, let's get comfy. It was cross-country first class, though. That's the real deal shit. That's where your seat turns into a bed. It is weird to get separated from your wife on one of those, because they put me with like a random fat guy. I don't want to make fun of her being fat, because some of you are fat, but he was so fat. He was coming into my seat. Like we were flush shoulder to shoulder, and then we slowly eased back into bed together. And then we chose the same movie, and I was like, this is the most romantic date I've ever been on. I'm like, if this guy makes a move, I'll bang him right here. I don't give a shit. We got blankets, turbulence. When Harry Met Sally's on, it's nice, you know? At one point on the flight, I got up, I looked over, my wife had her own guy that she was in bed with. And then he was like the hottest guy on the plane. And that pissed me off, because I was like, I want that guy. Switch guys. You take this piece of shit. I want the hot guy. I paid for these tickets. I like watching movies on the plane. We all do that, right? I like Delta. I fly Delta. Delta's the best airline. They have the best movies on Delta. I don't know who categorizes the movies at Delta. I don't think they're doing a great job. I was on a flight the other day. I went to the classic section, and The Hangover Part 2 was under classics.
Fuck yeah.
I swear to God, it was To Kill a Mockingbird, It's a Wonderful Life, and The Hangover Part 2. Classic. I remember the first time I saw The Hangover Part 2. My grandfather showed it to me. It was on Turner Classic Movies, and we watched it on his black and white TV. Really bonded. That wasn't the most egregious, though. The most ridiculous one, I went to, this is true, you can check my Instagram account. I went to documentary, and the movie A Quiet Place was under documentaries. I don't know if you remember that movie. That was a summer blockbuster horror movie where monsters kill you if you make a sound. Somebody at Delta watched that movie and was like, this is an amazing documentary. Holy shit. How did I not read about this in the papers? I'm glad somebody documented this. I'll tell you what I like to do though. I probably a lot of you guys do this. I like to download a movie, bring a laptop on the flight, download a movie, then you can just choose any movie you want. But you gotta use some discretion, because everyone around you can see the movie you're watching. So you don't want to get too weird with it. Like one time I brought the movie Casino. You guys all remember that movie? Great movie from the 90s, Scorsese, right? Very violent. If you haven't seen the movie, at one point in the movie, a guy has his head crushed in a vice and his eyeball pops out. I looked over, there was a 7-year-old child just staring at my laptop. He looked horrified. I felt so bad. I was like, you know what? Take an earbud. It'd be better with sound if you could hear it. Then he started crying, and I was like, are you ratting me out right now? Because I'll crush your little head in this laptop computer if I have to. I was on a plane one time. The lady next to me, she was watching 50 Shades of Grey on her laptop. Did you guys see that movie? Great documentary.
Great documentary.
It's a classic and a documentary, really. Very sexual film. I thought she was watching porn at first. I was like, good for you, lady. Get after it. Enjoy yourself. The flight attendant came by. She's like, would you like more pretzels? I was like, more napkins, if you don't mind.
Just watching the
comedy
comedy.
on the plane. Kind of caught me off guard. We were landing. She's like, could you put your tray table up? I'm like, I'd rather not right this moment. I'm in the full upright lock position myself. So this is a spicier flight than I'm accustomed to. I can't sleep on the plane. Even with first class, I can't sleep on an airplane. I don't know about you guys. My friend's like, why can't you sleep on an airplane? He acts like I'm crazy. He's like, why don't you just go to sleep? I'm like, I can't. And he's like, why? I'm like, is that hard to understand? That's not a normal sleeping situation. That's why. Like if you went home tonight and you went to bed and there was a jet engine idling outside of your bedroom window, don't you think you might be like, I'm gonna have trouble sleeping tonight because of the jet engine outside of my bedroom window? And then also somebody replaced your bed with a chair. And there was 71 strangers in your bedroom with you. And then someone woke you up in the middle of the night to offer you a Coke. That's what they do on airplanes. Like, I know you're trying to sleep, but do you want a Coke right now? I'm like, yeah, give me a Coke. I like to break up my sleep with a can of Coke. That's how I sleep at home. I sleep for 4 hours. I wake up, I drink a can of Coke. Trying to spice up my dreams a little bit. Sometimes I boil cola right before bed. A little sleepy time Pepsi. I love Coke. I quit Coke. I quit.
Joe
Coca-Cola.
List.
I still do blow, obviously. You gotta live your life, you know. Coke is bad for you. I used to drink it all the time. People would always tell me it's bad. People love to do that. My friend, people would always say, Coke can take the paint off your car. What does that tell you? I'm like, it tells me not to put it on my car. That's what I'm not putting it on my car. I'm putting it in my body. And I don't have any paint in my body. If I did have paint in my body, I would want to get rid of it. So if you think about it that way, Coke's actually a pretty healthy beverage.
It really is.
You don't want paint in your body. If your kid accidentally swallows some paint, give him a can of Coke. Send him back out there. He'll be fine. It's very healthy. My buddy tried to help me sleep on the plane. He's like, you want to borrow my sleep mask for your flight? I was like, I don't. First of all, I don't need a sleep mask. I have a built-in sleep mask called eyelids. My eyelids block out the light for me. Also, it's not the lighting. It's the farts and the announcements is what I'm having a hard time with. You don't need a mask to sleep. Those words don't even go together. Sleep mask? That's like a masturbation helmet. They don't go together. Honey, have you seen my masturbation helmet and my bowel movement knee pads? They were with my sleep mask earlier. Now I can't find any of them. I have trouble sleeping at home too because I have anxiety. My same friend, he tried to help me with that. He goes, the key to falling asleep, he goes, you want to keep your body temperature cool. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Then he said, one way to do that, you can wear socks and gloves to bed. It'll draw heat to those areas and cool the rest of your body. I was like, nice. I might try that. Or I might flick on the air conditioning. That might be another thing. I'll either wear socks and gloves to bed like I escaped from an asylum, or perhaps I'll turn on the ceiling fan. I might even stick my leg out from underneath the blankets. That's another way people have been cooling down for several centuries. Good advice, though. I might do that in the summer. Summertime, you know, I'll go down to the beach on a hot day and wear a couple of oven mitts and some tube socks. Kind of cool down my torso. You know how a lot of times people wear gloves to keep their nipples cool. Good advice. I try to get healthy. I quit drinking a long time ago, a few years ago, you know. Sometimes, oh, thank you. I don't know if there's a boo. That's usually a sign that you're an alcoholic, by the way. You hear someone be like, I quit drinking, and someone's like, boo! I was getting too wild. Sometimes you get too wild when you're drinking, you know. Sometimes I think there's like placebo effect to drinking a little bit. You ever think that? You see like a person, they're acting like an asshole, they're like, it's the whiskey talking. And then you're like, that's a Smirnoff Ice, and it's your first one. So I feel like it's your personality talking, actually. I think there's some placebo effect to alcohol. Because I haven't had a drink in years, but I had a cold recently, so I went to a health food store, and I got a shot of wheatgrass. I don't even know what wheatgrass is, but they put it in a shot glass, and I fired it back, and I was like, who wants to see my dick? And I kicked over a table. I was like, sorry, that was muscle memory. I haven't drank anything 1.5 ounces at a time in a while. I got fired up. I apologize. Give me some vitamins. I want to snort them up. It's hard to be healthy. It's hard for everyone. I'm like on the road all the time. I'm traveling, so it's like hard. Like sometimes I eat McDonald's because it's the only thing open, and also because it's my favorite restaurant. So I was at McDonald's the other day. I was dining in.
Dining in.
It's funny, right? That's the term they use. You order your food, they're like, will you be dining in? I'm like, I'll be eating over there. I feel like dining feels a little dramatic. I'm going to chew my food in the corner as fast as I possibly can in the hopes that nobody sees me. I'm not going to cut my burger in half and put a cloth napkin in my shirt and light a candle. But I was dining in, and the phone rang while I was at McDonald's. That blew my mind. You guys don't even seem weirded out by that. Not my phone, their phone. Somebody called McDonald's on the telephone. A human being was at their house and was like, you know who we need to call? McDonald's. Let me get them on the phone. I didn't even know they had a phone. The employees didn't know. They were like, what the hell is that sound? We have a phone? What? Who calls McDonald's? I'm like, what are you making, reservations? That must have been the breathiest phone call of all time. Just, are the new toys in yet? I asked the lady, I was like, what was that phone call all about? She was like, it was somebody complaining about the food. That blew my mind even more. I didn't know we could complain at McDonald's. It's shit food. That's what you bought. That's a gamble. I could go to McDonald's. My burger could be bleeding. I'd be like, that's hilarious. You guys are crazy.
You guys are crazy.
Imagine complaining to a McDonald's employee. Excuse me, my meal wasn't great. Yeah, my fucking life isn't great. Are you shitting me? Go to a real restaurant, asshole. I don't care. You can complain at McDonald's, I think, if they get your meal wrong. That's like one thing. You get your meal the right way, you know. But even that's not great. You could be like, excuse me, you put pickles on this? I don't really like pickles. What they do for you, they'll take the pickles off and they eat them while making eye contact with you. And then they slice your burger back to you. I had a complaint recently at McDonald's, but I didn't complain because I'm a good American. God damn it. This is my complaint. I went to McDonald's and I ordered my meal. My meal came to $9.89 and I paid with a $10 bill. My change is 11 cents. And the woman went, do you need your 11 cents or no?
Or no.
I thought that was weird. Once again, none of you are affected by this. I thought that was strange. I was like, well, I would like it. That belongs to me. So typically you would just give that to me at this point in the transaction. But she was like, right, but do you need it? And I was like, I don't need it. No, I guess not. And then she was like, great, thank you. She took it out of the drawer, put it in her pocket, and just walked away. And I was like, what the fuck just happened to me? I just got robbed with my permission. That was very strange. It was like a Jedi McMind trick. She's like, you don't need your 11 cents. I'm like, I guess I don't. Take it. I ate a lot of fast food. I eat Chipotle a lot. That's like my go-to. Thank you. Chipotle. I live here in New York. Now, when you go to fast food restaurants in New York City, they have like a secret code on the bathroom door. Because like they don't want, if you don't have a secret code in New York, people will move into your bathroom. They're like, this is our apartment now. But I don't know if you know this, when you go to the middle of the country, people don't want to live in the Chipotle bathroom. So there's no code on the bathroom door, which is confusing to us New Yorkers. Like I was in like rural Illinois recently, and I went to a Chipotle, and I walked up to the counter, and I was like, hey, what is the bathroom code? And the guy had no idea what I was talking about. He was like, number 1, urine, number 2, shit. Like, is that the code you're asking me for? I was like, oh, I know that code, of course. That's the most popular bathroom code, of course. Number 1, pee, number 2, poo. We all know that. That's international. That's all over the world. There should be a statue or a plaque to whoever came up with the number 1, number 2 system. I Googled it for like 3 straight days. I couldn't get to the bottom of who came up with it. I think it was a woman. I think a woman came up with it because I think women like to let you know when they have to go number 2, but they don't want to say anything because it's not socially acceptable. Like my wife, she lets me know when she has to go number 2. She telegraphs it slightly. This is what she does. She scrunches up her body and then she whispers, she goes, I have to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, did you date a guy that hit you when you shit? Why do you look afraid of me right now? Baby, I love you. Get in there. Let it rip. Am I putting on an anti-bowel movement vibe? I'm pro shitting. We can make out while you do it. I like it. I'm not into shitting, but you gotta.
Smirky station.
I'm cool with the bathroom. I have no bathroom issue. I have one bathroom issue, but this is I think only men deal with this. At some point, men reach an age where at some point they start taking their penis out several feet before they arrive at a urinal or a stall. I don't like that. I don't know when that starts happening. Every once in a while, I'm in a public restroom. You just see a guy like, I gotta take a piss. I'm like, dude, you gotta leave earlier or get less complicated pants. Something's going wrong. It's not like taking your keys out before you get to your car. It's offensive. I think that's just men, by the way. I don't go to ladies' rooms, but I don't picture women being like, heads up, Barbara! I have too many coffees. Whoa, Sue, great lady there. Oh, God. Anyways, I'm trying to eat healthier. It's hard. I tried to go vegetarian for like a week. I was like, let me go 1 week, detox, vegetarian. I tried. I didn't do great. I went 5 days. I ate SpaghettiOs, M&Ms, and Fruit Loops exclusively for 5 straight days. And I was like, I feel like shit. My teeth hurt. This diet sucks. I broke the diet by accident. Day 6, I ordered spaghetti and meatballs at a restaurant. I swear to God, this is true. I'm an idiot. I was halfway through before I was like, you know what? I think there might be meat in meatballs. I'm gonna just double check on this. I was like, by any chance you guys not put meat in your meatballs? You do. Your balls with meat. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Do you need Fruit Loops by any chance? I want to be healthy. I feel like I'm relatively healthy. I went to the doctor recently. I can afford to go to the doctor now. I still don't have health insurance, but like I can afford a visit. This is where I'm at financially. I'm not rich, but here's where I'm at. I had a big milestone recently. This is my point in life. If I pay for something with a debit card and it doesn't go through, I say, run it again.
Run it again.
That's like a big moment in your life. Most of my life, like, that didn't go through. I'm like, that makes perfect sense. I'll get the hell out of here. I apologize. I hate myself. I'm going to move back in with my parents. Still call the cops. But now I'm like, no way. That's on you. I got 300 bones in there. I went to the doctor. It's nice to go to the doctor. You know, I went to the ear doctor. Most people don't go to the ear doctor. In fact, so few people go to the ear doctor, they had to combine forces with the nose and throat doctor. That's one doctor, ear, nose, throat. That's the only doctor that combines body parts. There's no doctor that's like, I'm foot, pussy, forehead. Those are my 3 areas. Oh, cool, man. He's like, yeah, those are my 3 favorites. So I just studied those, and now nice. That's awesome. So I went to the ear, nose, throat doctor, which is a cool doctor. It's one doctor. He knows all 3 body parts. I was hoping it was 3 doctors saving money by sharing a small office. He's like, I'm Bill, this is Susan, and Ted. Ear, nose, throat. Who do you need? They all kind of... I went for my ear. I have an ear issue called tinnitus or tinnitus. That's when your ears ring. You got it? Yeah, it's frustrating. It's when your ears ring or buzz all the time. I don't know how you say it. I thought it was called tinnitus. But then I watched a YouTube video, and the doctor in the video, he kept saying tinnitus. And so then I was like, oh, I guess it's pronounced tinnitus. Then I went to the comment section, and the first comment said, this guy's a fake-ass fucking retard doctor. It's pronounced tinnitus. All caps. And so I was like, shit, now I don't know how to say this word. This gentleman's a doctor. He seems very smart. This fella seems less smart, but extremely adamant about the pronunciation of this word. Tomato, tomato. However you say it. If you haven't, don't go to the doctor. They don't do shit. I went to the doctor. I was like, Doc, I have a tinnitus or tinnitus, whatever you guys are calling it. My ears are ringing. And he said, okay, I'm going to test your hearing. And I was like, oh, no, that's okay. My hearing is great. I hear everything plus ringing. So
Plus ringing.
I kind of have superpower hearing, if you think about it. I'm hearing shit that's not even in the room. He gave me the hearing test. I passed it, nailed it. Great hearing. Then he said, I'm going to look in your ears to make sure it's nothing obvious. I thought that was kind of hilarious because he didn't explain what obvious would be. Like he's going to look in my ear and be like, oh, there's a tiny alarm clock in your ear canal. That's a very rare condition. I'm going to reach in there and hit the snooze for you. It'll be fine for like 9 minutes. But he looked at my ear. It was nothing obvious. So then he was out of things. He's like, well, your hearing is great, and there's nothing obvious causing the problem. Then he said this. He goes, you have an overbite. Might have something to do with your overbite. That was it. No science, no confidence. He just picked out a thing I'm physically self-conscious about. I was like, maybe that?
Maybe
Could be your small dick also. I don't know. You have a lot of problems. You're very unattractive. And I'm like, that's unfair. I always feel insulted as a doctor. Don't you feel so vulnerable at the doctor? Everything he says. He tried to explain tinnitus. He's like, you have tiny little hairs in your ear. And I was like, you have big hairs in your nose, asshole. Why don't you leave me alone, you bully? But he said, he goes, I recommend getting a white noise machine. And I was like, you're a white noise machine. I was like, what does a white noise machine do? He goes, well, that way you're hearing the white noise instead of the sound that you're hearing. And I was like, right. The sound I'm hearing is white noise. Like I have a white noise machine in my head. That's the issue. You're telling me to get surround sound of the problem I'm telling you I have.
It's great. I know, right?
That'd be like if you had a bad smell in your nose and you went to the doctor and he was like, put a little dog shit on your lip. Just every morning, scoop a little dog shit on your upper lip. That's what I would do. That way you're smelling dog shit. That'll be $8,000. We don't take any insurance. God bless America.
God bless America.
I went to the dentist. I've been going to the dentist a lot. I didn't go to the dentist for like 10 years. Don't skip years. I thought you could just skip over those years, but they make you make up for the time you missed. I hate the dentist. I love my dentist personally. Like he's a good guy. We're friends. I love him. But dentist or the doctor, I trust the least. I think they're just making shit up. Like cavities, I feel like those are completely made up by the dental industry. Nobody's on board with this, but my dentist's like, you have a cavity. And I was like, do I? It doesn't hurt. And he's like, cavities don't always hurt. And I was like, I don't see anything. He's like, you can't really see cavities. I was like, this is awfully convenient for you, isn't it? It doesn't hurt and I can't see it, but you need to fix it? That's a little suspicious if you ask me.
Shit.
He's like, you can ignore it, but we'll turn to a root canal. And I was like, I feel like you're threatening me. I think you're making shit up and you're threatening me with it. I was like, whatever, fill it, I guess. He filled the cavity. I think he filled it. I have no idea. They numb your mouth. You can't feel what they're doing, and you can't see what they're doing. So he might have been crocheting. I have no idea what this guy did. But he charged me $500, which seemed high, you know? And then I went back 6 months later. You gotta go every 6 months. And this time I needed a root canal. Different tooth. Wasn't even hurting. He's like, you need a root canal. And I was like, which tooth? He's like, whichever one you want. Just pick a tooth. I just want to make some extra cash for the holidays. I was like, are you sure I need a root canal? He's like, oh yeah. He showed me the x-ray. Doctors love to show you the x-ray as though you've read an x-ray at any point in your entire life. He tossed it up there. He's like, take a look. I'm like, I don't know what that is. I read books and tweets almost exclusively. And he's like, see how it's all white right here? And I'm like, well, it's a black and white photo. So the whole goddamn photo is white. I was like, I can't afford a root canal. I was like, what are those, like $3,000? He goes, they're not $3,000. He said like I was an idiot. He's like, they're not $3,000. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm not a dentist. And you don't have a menu with prices on it, okay? I was like, how much do they cost? He said $1,800. Which is a little frustrating because I feel like I was in the ballpark. It's not like I said 75,000. I was pretty close. They did the root canal, which was fine. And then afterwards, he's like, now you need a crown. And I was like, how much did the crown cost? And with a straight face, he said $1,200. I swear to God, that's not even a joke at all. I was like, what?
So what's 3,000?
I'm sorry, that sounds an awful lot like $3,000. You could have at least given me the satisfaction of nailing it. I should get both prizes for getting the... You guys had root canals? They're a bummer. They're not that bad. I've had like 9 in the last 3 weeks, but they got their hooks in me. They're not that bad. They numb your mouth, like I said, so it doesn't hurt. But this is what they do. They drill into your tooth. I won't get too graphic, but they drill into your tooth, and they just pull the roots out. They toss them or plant them. I don't know what they're doing with the roots. They collect them. Then what they do is they whittle your tooth down to like a little piece of shit nub, and then they glue a fake tooth on top of that, and then they go like this. We saved it. We saved your tooth. I'm like, you did. You saved it. You did quite a bit of damage right before you saved it. Most of my tooth is on my glasses right now, but you fixed it up new. It's like if you went to get a haircut and they just shaved your head and gave you a wig and they're like, we fixed it. It looks a lot better. It looked ridiculous for a minute there. That'll be $1,800 for the haircut and $1,200 for the wig. It's a package deal. Then I went to the eye doctor. I got an eye exam. How to get an eye exam for like 10 years. Do you know why I didn't get an eye exam for 10 years? Because I was basing it off dental prices. I thought I couldn't afford an eye exam. I was like, it cost me $3,500 to fix 2 teeth that weren't even bothering me. What the hell is eyesight going to cost?
What the fuck is eyesight going to cost?
$75. That's how much an eye exam costs in New York City. $75. I showed up with $5,000 in my pocket. I walked in there with all my money. I was like, just let me see again. I'll give you the rest when I have it. Like, that'll be $75. I'm like, are you shitting me? Give me 2 eye exams. Double check both eyes. I'll pay for that. I'll pay for everybody's eye exams all day. I'm like Daddy Warbucks in here. I don't think eye doctors have any idea how much dentists are charging out there. They could really up their prices if they wanted to. But I thought maybe like eye doctors like the lowest self-esteem doctor. They're like, can you read the bottom line? It's fine if you can't. I can't either. I'm a fucking idiot. Stupid. My dad hates me. And you're like, geez, you all right?
Jeez, you all right?
How are teeth more expensive than eyes? That's like unbelievable to me. You have so many more teeth. If you lose a tooth, nobody even notices. If you lose an eye, you have a new nickname. People notice. If you lose an eye, your friends are gonna be like, didn't you used to have multiple eyes? You did, you had 2. I thought you had 2. Plus, teeth has other options too. Like if you can't afford a root canal, they can pull the tooth for you. It takes like 3 minutes. It's fairly cheap. They don't have that at the eye doctor, you know? You're like, I can't read the bottom line. You're like, wants to pull that out? We can toss that thing right away for you. We'll give you some gauze and some Vicodin. Don't eat anything solid for a couple days. I'm going to therapy. You guys going to therapy out there? Mental and dental. No, not a big therapy. In New York, too. I love it. I can do it for you. If you guys wanted to go, maybe you can't afford it. I can do it for you. I didn't go to college or anything, but I know how to do therapy. I've been going long enough. Whatever you're dealing with, it's because of your family. Look no further than your own family. That's all therapy is. You complain about your problems, and they says, it's your family. And then you're like, still, great. Then you give them your money, and then you leave. At first, I was skeptical. I was like, I don't know. And then I spent 11 seconds with my family, and I was like, he nailed it. These are the worst people I've ever met in my life. I don't know. I didn't see this earlier. My Aunt Betty, she's a big source of my anxiety. I don't know if you guys know her at all. She was a babysitter, late 80s, early 90s. I have anxiety. That's like my big issue. I know when my anxiety began. I think it was because of my Aunt Betty. When I was 8 years old, this is a true story. My Aunt Betty said this to me. She said, Joe, my biggest fear. She told me her biggest fear. I didn't ask her what her biggest fear was because I was 8 years old. I did not give a shit about her fears, but she told me anyway. She said, my biggest fear is that when I go to the bathroom, there'll be a man hiding behind the shower curtain.
Why would you say that to an 8-year-old?
And I was like, well, that's my biggest fear now also. Previously, my biggest fear had been wetting my pants, but that's now the solution to avoiding my new biggest fear, entering the bathroom at my parents' house. My parents are like, what do you want for your 9th birthday? I'm like, how about a urinal in my bedroom? And maybe a firearm and a new babysitter, the big 3.
The big 3.
That was my big fear as a kid, wetting my pants. If you get like frightened of anything or scared, which I was scared of everything, if you get frightened by something, you can just urinate right in your pants. And then your life is ruined. That's a weird mind-body connection I never understood. Like your brain is like, I'm terrified. And then your bladder's like, we'll go ahead and piss then. And then your brain's like, that didn't help at all.
That didn't help at all.
And your bladder's like, that's all we know how to do. We just want to let you know we were helping. And then your colon's like, we're ready to rock also if you want us to fire something out. Fortunately, my Aunt Betty was never attacked by a man behind the shower curtain, which is good. I mean, it can still happen. She's still alive. It probably won't. She lives with her parents. They have a security system set up. She's always lived with her parents. She's never moved out. She's never been married. She had the wrong worst fear. She should have been praying for a man behind that shower curtain. She might have been able to scooch on out of that house, but that joke got mean, evidently, but she's an asshole in real life. Don't worry about it. You guys really took her side. That hurt my feelings, goddammit. What about my feelings? I'll tell you what's good about therapy. You get a diagnosis. You find out what's going on, like what's wrong, you know? Like we're all fucked up, you know? You go to therapy, you get a diagnosis. Like I have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, which is fun. I like to say I have it. Some people word it differently. Some people will say this, I am OCD. You ever meet those people? Like, I gotta go wash my hands. I'm OCD. That triggers my OCD. Because I'm like, you're not saying it properly. I guess it sounds normal, because you hear it, so it sounds normal. But watch me replace it with something else. I gotta go wash my hands. I'm genital herpes. See how that? Like, I'm sorry, you have genital? No, I am genital herpes. It's who I am. Call me Jen for short. It's very serious. I'm trying to relax more. It's hard. I got into Buddhism. I'm like a Buddhist, sort of. I read a Buddhist book, you know. It wasn't a book. It was a meme, if I'm being honest with you guys. But I like to say book. You sound smarter when you say you read a book. But memes are they're preferable. They're more succinct, you know. This is what it said in a good quote. It said, let negative thoughts come into your head, but don't serve them tea. Because you don't want your negative thoughts lingering around drinking tea. That's like the analogy, I guess. My negative thoughts aren't drinking tea. Mine are doing cocaine. That's a better analogy. My negative thoughts are like, climate change is going to make the world uninhabitable. Tomorrow! I'm like, oh, fuck. Jesus. I read this. Human beings have up to 70,000 thoughts a day. Did you guys know that? I thought it was like 9. I had no idea. 70,000 is too many. I don't think I have 70,000 thoughts a day. I feel like I have 4 thoughts a day. They just repeat 70,000 times. My 4 thoughts are, my parents going to die, I'm horny, is that cancer, is this funny? Those are my 4 thoughts I ever have in my life. I've been traveling a lot. It's stressful to travel. I went to Israel last year. I don't know if you guys have been. It's New York. You probably have. I went to the Dead Sea. That's like a big attraction in Israel. You guys know about the Dead Sea? Even if you've never been, you're familiar. You can float. That's like the big attraction to the Dead Sea. You float. I don't know if you guys know this. Did you know this? You can actually float in any body of water. You do not have to travel to the Middle East if you'd like to float in water. You can do that right here in America. They don't know that over there. They're like, get in the water. You'll float. I'm like, we have chairs that float. They have little cup holders. We do it all summer. It's terrific. We got foam noodles. You can buy them for $3. But I went. I didn't want to go, but you got to try new things. That's very important in life. That's what they say. I think new things are overrated, honestly, once you get to a certain age. I'm 37. I like chicken parm and missionary sex. That's all I'm really into. People are like, what about veal and reverse cowgirl? I'm like, those are inhumane, if you ask me. I don't think we should. But I went to the Dead Sea. I had a tour guide. He gave me some fun facts of the Dead Sea. He said it's the lowest body of water on Earth. And I was like, oh, that's neat. Then he added a second part that I thought was annoying. He goes, it's actually below sea level. And I was like, I don't know if you're smarter than me or dumber than me, but it's not below sea level. It is sea level. It's the sea. Whatever the level is, that's the level. You can't be below yourself. And he's like, actually, you can be. And I was like, maybe you should blow yourself. I thought that was hilarious. Right off the top of my head, that was pretty good. He didn't laugh at all. I think someone was lost in translation, but I thought it was a good zinger. Then he said this, he warned me. He said, when you get in the water, if you have any cuts or nicks or abrasions on your body, you're gonna really feel it because the salt can get in there. And I was like, well, I don't have any cuts or nicks or abrasions on my body, so I'm not too worried about it. But then I got in the water, and you know what I found out? Your pee hole qualifies as a cut, nick, or abrasion. I had no idea. All these years I've been walking around with a cut on the end of my penis. Or a nick, might be a dick nick, I'm not sure. I got in the water, I was like, ah. And then he was like, is your pee hole burning a little bit? And I was like, you fucking knew about this? You gave me that shitty Snapple fact about the sea level, but failed to mention I might have a burning pee hole? He goes, it's normal. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's normal.
That's abnormal. Normally, I have no burning in my penis while swimming. He's like, you'll get used to it. And I was like, I'm not going to get used to it. I'm going to get out of the water and go back to America. I'm not. I don't want to just have a burning dick and be like, oh, it's an acquired taste after a few minutes. It's invigorating.
The French.
You don't experience the Dead Sea. Go home tonight, get a glass of water, fill it with salt, and then just ease down into the... Get a sense of what the Dead Sea's about. Ladies, it's harder. It's harder to... It's hard to dip your vagina in a glass. Vaginas don't dangle, you know. Some do, but I feel like... I don't know if it happens with women, because I was with a friend of mine, Rachel. She's a woman. We got out of the water, and I was like, Rachel, my pee hole, did your vagina burn at all? And she was like, I only went in knee deep. And I was like, oh, me too. Thank you. It was the proudest moment of my comedy career. I went to Ireland last year. I've been there a couple times. That's a beautiful country. They have they like to fight there. That's like a big stereotype, fighting Irish. I don't like stereotypes, but they nailed that one. I saw so many fights. I saw the biggest fight I've ever seen, a big brawl. It was two bouncers. I was in Dublin. It was two bouncers from a bar fighting this one other guy. And I think he was like a patriot. I don't know how the fight started. It was already in progress when I got there. They might have been fighting for centuries, but it was 2-on-1. They just kicked the shit out of each other. Eventually, the two guys, they beat up the one guy because they had more arms than he had. That's a big advantage in a fight. They knocked the guy down. This is what happened. They knocked the guy down finally, and they didn't hit him while he was down. They just kind of stood there, like we've won the fight. And I was like, I respect that. Because here in America, if you get in a fight and you get a guy down, you kick him until he dies. You know what I mean? We're number one, goddammit. I'm from Boston. Maybe you guys aren't. Maybe that's missed the... But he didn't hit him. He didn't hit him all. He just kind of stood there. And then I was like, these guys are real gentlemen. They don't hit a man when he's down. But then, plot twist. The guy who was laying on the ground, his girlfriend came running over, and she was like, you sons of bitches! And one of the guys blasted her right in the face. And I was like, wow, I seem to have jumped the gun on my assessment of these fellas. Not quite as gentlemanly as I first suspected. Won't hit a man when he's down. Will hit a woman when she's up. So I was like, I better do something, goddammit. I'm a man. I'm an American. I'm going to take action. So I did. I tweeted. I just saw some crazy shit. Hashtag blessed. Fire it off. Hit him where it hurts. The lady was fine, by the way. She wasn't injured. I would not make a joke if she was hurt. She was completely fine. I think she might have been on meth. I think that because I read there's a meth problem in Dublin, and then when the woman got punched in the face, she went like this. Ah! I was like, I think that might be one of those meth people I was reading about.
That's meth.
That seems like a methy reaction to a punch in the face. And by the way, she won the fight. Both guys were like, oh shit, that's crazy. Let's get out of here. They left. And then she was crying, and then she kind of hugged her man. He was bleeding in the street. They kind of hugged. And for a moment, I got like kind of jealous. I was like, my wife and I never do fun stuff like this anymore. That's really sweet. You know?
Me and my wife never get.
And this time, you gotta make this up. I swear to God, this really happened. The woman, she walked over to the bar. She opened the front door of the bar, and she yelled inside. She went, all we wanted was some chips. That's when I was like, I really wish I saw the beginning of this fight, because I feel like there has to be more to that story. There's no way. Like that woman was sitting at the bar. She's like, can we get some chips right over here? Take them outside, beat the shit out of him, and punch her right in the fucking face. We do not sell chips at this establishment. The rest of my time in Ireland is like, can I get some chips? But if not, no big deal. I don't want to cause a big.
Oh, but Diane,
you're very
it was
particular about your chip
for
distribution in this
Halloween.
country.
Oh, okay, that makes
I
sense.
understand you had a famine some time ago. I don't want to cause any problems.
Jamie, the crazy hat lady wasn't being
Yo,
crazy
what, we
for
have sex? You
hat.
guys having
She
sex out
just
there?
was celebrating
Like that segue?
Halloween. She was being like a warlock or something.
You know, like about sex, I
else.
like sex. You keep learning. You know what I mean? Like I've been having sex for a number of years, but like sometimes I still feel like it's a learning experience. Like recently, my wife and I had sex. She had a
Warlock.
cold. We had sex anyways. She's a real trooper. You know. In the middle of the sex, she coughed
feel like,
and
yeah,
it ejected
warlock
my penis
and
out of her body.
like
Did you guys know that happened?
and 23.
Not a little bit. 100% out of her body. I was like, whoa, what? It was like a magic trick. Evidently, that's 1 tube all the way down. Ear, nose, throat, vagina. It's ENTV. I was like, I gotta get some cough drops or a bigger dick. Something has to change here.
No.
Ladies, you know you can do that? Next time you're having sex with your man and he's not giving it to you the way you like it, just give him a good. Don't come back here with that weak ass shit. I'll cough you right out of this relationship. I was nervous to get back in there. I'm like, if she sneezes, I'm gonna be dead on the ceiling over here. I got back in there, back on the horse, as they say. The horse being my wife in this situation. She's more of a pony. She's very petite. I was really holding on to that headboard because I was nervous, and then she did have to sneeze. I thought she was having an orgasm at first. They sound similar.
It sounds
Like,
similar.
For like 1 second, I was like, I'm fucking hitting it today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then she sneezed and blew it in my face. I was like, oh, that makes more sense. And I came and said, God bless you. So that was kind of hot. It was fun. That's actually a better time to take off.
God
Really.
bless you.
Sex is fun. I love it. Sex is different when you're married, though. Like, I'm a dirty guy. Like, I like to get dirty and weird, you know? Like, I'm a dirty guy. But, like, when you're married, you can't get too dirty because you have to segue back into your regular life together. You know what I mean? Like, when you're single, you can say crazy shit. You can do whatever. You can be like, I can't ever see this person again. That was weird. But when you're married, it's hard to be like, step on my balls and choke me, bitch. And then 5 minutes later, you're like, I'll do the dishes if you vacuum. Is that cool? Sorry about earlier. I don't know what happened there. That's why I go entry level dirty talk. Just kind of regular. You know what I mean? Like the other day we were having sex. I don't want to get too graphic out of respect. But she was on top. And I went, yeah, fuck me.
Yeah.
That's something, right? Standard. And then she said, I am. I had to be like, no, I know. I know you are. It was more rhetorical. Then I tried to cop her off of me. I want to see if I can do it to her. Kind of. Nothing doing. I got to do some kegels or something. I love my wife. I love her family. She has a sister. We're buddies. I was hanging out with my wife's sister the other day. And you ever send a text message too quick and you miss a letter or a word and it like changes the whole text? We've all had that. I had that happen recently. I was hanging out with my sister-in-law. My wife texted and she wrote, how's things going with my sister? And I wrote back, great. She's a lot of fun. I wish you were her.
I wish you were.
That's a bad text. I meant to write, I wish you were here, obviously. I felt bad. I had to call her. I was like, hey, I didn't mean to write that. I was distracted. I was trying to fuck your sister, but I got a little confused. I wish you were here so we could all fool around, you know? Like in the movies. It's weird when you date or marry someone with a sibling, because siblings tend to look alike because they have the same parents, but you're not supposed to be attracted to the siblings. It's inappropriate. But they look alike. You gotta pretend they don't. You gotta be like, baby, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in the whole world. But this younger version of you is very off-putting to me. I would never be attracted to a slightly newer version of you. I don't. That's gross. I'm very attracted to my wife. Because I want her to be like attracted to me. I don't know. It's hard because like when you're married, you want the person to be attracted to you. I Googled things that are sexy to women, and you shouldn't do that. That's a mistake.
This is actually funny.
I read about 25 articles. I had none of the things in any of the articles. Which was about it.
Yeah, how's it going, Seb?
I make the bed. I think that's a bullshit article. That's just a woman trying to get guys to make her bed, I'm pretty sure. Like someone was like, put down making the bed. Let's see if they try it.
Yeah, Joe List is hilarious.
Editor's like, that's
He's
not
my
really
favorite
sexy. She's like,
comedian.
oh, let's get our beds made, if nothing else. These guys are idiots. I don't picture a woman being like, ooh, look at the way he snaps out the wrinkles. That's so hot. Some things I think should be sexy to women, but they're not. Like, I don't understand women. Like, the other day, I was putting my socks on, and my foot just ripped right through it. I was like, I turned to my wife. I'm like, huh? You want a bag or what? She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm too much man. That's what I'm talking about. My goddamn socks can't even contain me anymore. She's like, no, you have a hole in the toe. I'm like, all right, whatever it is. Sometimes it's confusing what sex is. My wife and I, one time we were watching Brokeback Mountain together, and she got turned on, not by the sex. There's a scene in the movie, I don't know if you saw the movie. I won't give anything away in case you've been waiting 17 years to watch this masterpiece. We were watching the movie. There's a scene in the movie where Jake Gyllenhaal's character yells at his father-in-law. He says, sit your ass down, you old son of a bitch. It's like a big scene in the movie. And my wife was like, ooh, that was hot. I was like, is that hot? Should I be yelling at your dad? Is that a turn on? That never even crossed my mind.
Yelling at your dad.
Every morning I do 100 push-ups and I make the bed. I never thought to reprimand your father. I ain't to please, though, you know. Dad's like, I'm going to take my princess out for ice cream. I was like, that's what you think, you fat fuck. He was like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. What's wrong with her? That's the real question.
What's wrong with her?
I'm trying to stay sexually relevant. I would love an ice cream. That's not what she's into. So sit down, you son of a bitch. Didn't turn her on at all, by the way. I turned her mother on. She loved it. She was like, yeah. I hate this shit. I think I have a chance with her mother. We'll see. Feels inappropriate. But... You gotta spice it up though. We've been together a long time, you know. Sex, you gotta mix it up. I'll tell you what I like. I like shoes in bed. That's my thing. Anybody? I'm talking like high heels, not New Balance or Asics. Could be something nice. I like shoes in bed because they don't belong in bed. It's like a threesome. You shouldn't be here, but stick around. I like where this is going. You know? That's a sexy look on a woman, by the way. Naked with shoes. Not a man. Man, we're not quite able to pull that look off just yet.
Not quite.
If I'm naked wearing shoes, I look like a toddler that ran away from his mother while she was changing him. You ever seen that when someone's changing the kid and the kid makes a run for it? He's like, no! Tiny dick flipping everywhere. He hides in the curtain. That's me, you know. I think it's when a woman is naked wearing shoes, it's kind of like she's like, I forgot to get dressed. A man naked with shoes is like, I forgot to take my medicine. I don't know what got into me. Sorry.
Forgot to take my medicine.
Sex. That's my favorite sex. Morning sex. First thing, right? Yeah, there you go. I love it. My wife doesn't like it. I'm like, let's have some morning sex. She's like, no, I want to start my day. Yeah, I want to start my day also. That's what I was referring to. Frankly, it's a little hurtful that you wouldn't consider that part of your day. Then she's just eating cereal. I just got cock blocked by Tony the Tiger. It's not a great feeling. I think the problem with morning sex, morning breath, that's the main problem. Morning breath, I'm pretty sure, is how doggy style sex got invented. Like there was a couple having sex first thing in the morning, and then 30 seconds in, the woman's like, let's try this with my face buried in the pillow. That'll be better. We can still do it. I'll just lift my genitals to you and hide my nostrils in the linens. Thank you for making the bed, by the way. That's really nice of you. Thank you guys very much. That's it. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you. Take care. Thank you very much.
So Joe List, the guys, he's a great comedian. I highly recommend you check out more of his specials. He's just a funny as fuck dude. That's my favorite special of his. It's just funny. It's called I Hate Myself, and I'm just like, relatable. Oh, I just smacked one of my teammates right in the back for Warhammer. If you want to join Seb, I'm not sure if you're still here or not. I'll put the link to join the comments again. If not, and you just want to listen, Bull, go for it, man. Do not daydream your dreams. You know who I should get on here? I should get Scott. Scott would be awesome to have on the podcast. I need to grab my phone for that, though. I'll grab a. I don't need to grab my phone for that. I can just message him through Facebook Messenger. Here we go. Sent a message to Scott. We'll see what he's doing. Yo, what's poppin'?
I was actually going to come on here and like make an impression of the son of Ricardo the Bug.
Ah.
But I thought that you would probably think I was a troll if I tried to make like a practical joke like that.
Ah,
So
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I recognized your voice right away. I was like, ah, it's Seb. But yeah, I didn't recognize the name right away. I was like, Ricardo. Who the fuck's Ricardo?
yeah, it was the bug you named. It's the son of the bug you named. I was supposed. Yeah, I thought it was going to be funny, but like after a second, I just changed my mind about. I was going to. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's right. You know, who's turned out to be a troll that I kind of thought might have been a troll, but I didn't know. You use an icon. No one wants to have some respect for yourself. No one wants to see this nipple. You
Huh?
mean, some person said something about like an icon. What does he mean by icon? It's in like the logo thing. I just use it because it's my profile and why not? But
What's the big deal about using an icon?
I don't know. Apparently, it's not classy or something. I don't know. No one's told me this beforehand, so didn't realize it was a big deal to use an icon.
Like everybody uses icons, like even big companies. Like it's not like the CEO of Coca-Cola just has his face on every billboard. It's like the logo for Coca-Cola and stuff, and you're trying to have like a recognizable icon that people can recognize, sort of like a brand, so people can look at it and they
Uh,
recognize that it's you and click on the video, I guess.
Apparently, he's talking about you, but I don't know what he means by icon. But
Yeah, but it's a lack of an icon. It's like that. That's like the. Should I? Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess I could show my face, but I haven't shaved and don't like how my beard looks.
oh, so lazy if you don't have a camera, use an icon. Don't just leave it blank. Oh, he basically wants you to have like a picture or something there. Like, I don't know, I guess like I have a picture of the snack, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean it could be considered lazy, but I think it's more just a taste thing. Us
Are
people on
people
the
really
internet.
going to be that much stimulated by a little picture? One
Yeah,
sees like pictures every day with one's eyes. But I
yeah,
guess
that's a good point.
I could ho- I could have an icon thing.
I mean, don't feel you need to, but I mean, I guess it would be nice for aesthetic or just like personality expressing that or something. But it's just it's kind of arbitrary either way, so you don't need to.
I decided to anyway.
Awesome. Do you have any ideas what you want to do, or just oh yeah, oh that's awesome. Okay, yeah, using your
Yeah.
album cover. Yeah, your album cover is dope, so that works.
Did I? I'm not sure if I told you. Probably not. I think I would have remembered it. But as Olfan told me, she got that T-shirt, the Nefarious Rockers T-shirt, and did I tell you that?
I've seen some of your t-shirts, but I haven't seen any of them recently.
Yeah, but did I tell you that old fan got one?
Oh, the
I
old fan got
just
one?
received it.
I did not know that.
I thought I would be very. I thought I would have this ego trip. Oh, someone has a T-shirt of the band. I thought I would get some kind of ego trip, but I didn't. It felt kind of mundane. It was still nice, but it wasn't like how I expected it to be.
I
But
mean, as the Buddhists say, like it's never as good as you would expect. Life's always a disappointment. Oh, Seb has some T-shirts. Seb, if you want, you can display it on the screen if you want your website or something like that.
yeah, yeah, I have a merch websites to promote list baby wear and T-shirts for adults. Let's see. Here it is.
The baby one is just ironic because we're antinatalists, so it's just kind of like, oh, no one's gonna ever buy this, but it's just like for comedic purposes. No, he's not from Russia. He's
Everybody thinks I'm from Russia.
Kai sounds like he gave up a long time ago, dude. No, we just have clinical depression here, so I mean, it's just how it be.
I don't have depression. I
Oh,
should have depression. Like I think world is this terrible place and bad stuff has happened. So I don't have the. I should really have depression. I should. I don't exercise. I don't even to get endorphins. I should have depression, but I don't.
from Russia. He's from Denmark. Yeah, you're from Denmark, right?
Norway.
Sorry, Norway. Yeah.
It's close. Denmark is in Scandinavia, so it's close.
Yeah, Norway. I get it right sometimes.
So it's really great that I don't have depression or any mental health stuff problems and stuff.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that stuff's a bitch, man.
I guess the one thing I have is like chronic laziness and stuff. Like if I have to do something I really don't want to, but I do it anyway. Like force myself.
I mean, most people can't even do that sometimes. So, I mean, respect.
Yeah, I guess I can screen share the merch. So here is the baby onesie of like the album cover of the thing I was supposed to have a stone promoterist car. So it's a bit funny because it's a promoterist like thing babies can wear, but it also has references of marijuana and driving while stoned and stuff. It also has this cool visuals. I like that one. And here are the one old fan got, and it has this warning label on it, like this T-shirt will induce itching, rashes, and like and stuff like that. That's why there's like a red, some red text under there. That's what it says. Yeah, people can get it in all kinds of sizes, and there's even hoodies and stuff. And it's totally free for me to sell the t-shirts too.
Oh hell yeah!
So no,
If anybody wants to support Seb's rocking career, feel free to buy a T-shirt off of his channel. So, do you guarantee that you rub your balls in every shirt? Yeah. Someone wants to know if you rub your balls in the shirts, because if they're interested in that, it's part of. They'll do it. They'll buy one if you do. I
I
think.
can't disclose that information.
Cannot disclose. Respect.
Yeah, but really, I don't really know where the t-shirts are produced. They might be produced in a dirty place, and there might be bugs in it. There might be like toxic chemicals. Maybe if one sniffs it, there might even be some methyl chlorine in. Who knows what could be in it?
It's true. Could just have AIDS. Just kidding.
Do you have McDonald's? No, I don't have McDonald's.
Nah, McDonald's is against our way.
Yeah.
McDonald's is not the way.
Is Kane a troll or something?
Kane's a little bit trolly, but not too trolly.
Uh,
Kane's just vibing here. Kane's not an antinatalist per se, but Kane's learning, if I remember. Kane's coming one slowly but surely. Oh, you know that just another YouTuber person that comments on my videos every once in a while?
what did you say?
Oh, remember that one person called Just Another YouTuber? They would like comment
Yeah.
on my videos. That turns out that's D-Profit. So
So just another YouTuber used to be Deep Profit all along.
yeah,
I didn't know that he used to. I remember just another YouTuber. He used to comment a lot of the songs on my channel a lot, and it turned out to be Deep Profit all along.
yeah, I found that out today. It turns out, well, yesterday I think. It turned out it was just D-Profit. He was just being a troll, basically.
How did you know?
Hmm. How do I know? Oh, he said he was D-Profit. Then he said he was like fist deep in like a cow or something. I'm like, oh, yep, that's D-Profit. So,
I didn't know that.
is this where you say your ethics is the right way? I guess we could talk about ethics a little bit. Yeah.
No, it's like one's supposed to say one's ethics is the wrong way. Like I believe in something that one is ought to do, but don't do it. It's totally wrong. What I believe in and what I care for is wrong. Doesn't seem like it makes sense.
Yeah, basically. I mean, exactly what Seb said. Yeah, it's just like, of course, I'm gonna say my ethics are the right way. I mean, like, I'm not gonna be like, this is what I do, and because don't know anybody else do it. It's like that's just weird. Yeah. I'm a little concerned because I did see videos of Brent hurting bugs. I'm just squishing bugs. How is that hurting them? Bugs will die no matter what. In fact, they'll probably be torn apart by other insects or birds or something, getting digested by alive, all that jazz. So either way, crushing a bug is a far more merciful way to go than anything that nature is gonna do for you. So no need to be concerned. Just look at you should be crushing bugs too. And when it comes down to it, what do you mean, Jack's Law? My ethics are better than yours by 1,000%. You can argue with me if you want. Come on in here. You're more than welcome to. But when it comes down to it, unless you're a neg utilitarian, also you're probably inconsistent and don't have remote sense of clue of why you believe what you believe. No offense, but it's probably just the facts. You probably are just kind of running on emotion, and emotion's hypocritical and very, very rarely is it consistent. So, no offense, but I don't care if you take offense to it, anyways. Don't go talking shit if you won't want me talking shit too, G. Is it okay to eat cheese? No, cheese is pretty much never okay to eat. So, unless you're going out into the wild and milking a random goat that you found out there, it's probably not. No, I'm not like the other guy. I have very, very strict rules that I believe all people must abide by in order to be considered a good person, and not like a rule utilitarian or like a rule deontologist. But like, what do I what do I eat then? Not cheese. I just ate like dinner was beans. I ate beans, chili beans with like chili powder and like some other sauce. It's just basically I just ate beans and put it in a blender. But yeah, when it comes down to it, what's right is anything that reduces net suffering. What's wrong is anything that causes net harm. And, it's just that simple.
I think I will start to exercise soon. Like it's a good idea, and I will go somewhere to train. I thought of
Yeah, exercising is good. I mean, I don't really do it very much, but I still used to work manual labor jobs, so I didn't really need to.
yeah, kind of do some. That can be heavy, especially if one is like sleep deprived or something like that. If one isn't in that in top shape.
Why the fuck is Jack Laws talking about mathematics and ethics? What? I'm confusion.
If you don't add for time, maybe it's referring to like thinking about the long term implications of one's action, but
I mean,
you
yeah,
do
but
that
that's
already.
yeah, that's exactly. We already do that. We're already. That's what our whole philosophy is about: is taking the future into consideration and trying to stop suffering now so we can prevent future suffering. If you want to just make the math work, you're saying it's just about what does the most good. Your words, yeah, it's just about what does the most good, and takes into account the future as well. Home slice. Obviously, if we basically end some suffering now, aka like it could cause more harm in the future, and we take that into account. That's why I said net harm. And when it comes down to it, preventing massive amounts of harm in the moment could be a good thing, and I usually think it typically is. So, I mean, aka there's certain implications to negative utilitarianism, such as like, say, I don't know, maybe someone dies off now and they wouldn't be able to reproduce, and that might reduce net suffering in the future, which is a good thing. There's weird implications that are probably unfortunate truths, but aren't really unfortunate because it's just the truth. Truth isn't unfortunate. It's just something that, our biology makes us feel uncomfy about because programmed to reproduce. But that is not ethics. What is ethics then, Jack Law 2.0? What is ethics? Saying God says this woo-wah bullshit, or what is ethics? Because I'm a negative utilitarian, and it's just about whatever prevents. Ethics is about taking into account harm for others, basically, and being consistent in your values. And negative utilitarianism does all that. So I'm not sure if you're aware of what ethics is, Jack Law. You can feel free to come on in here, my dude. Like, there's an open link for anybody to talk. You
If people have so many inconsistencies in their ethics, like one of one could make a long list of all the inconsistencies most people have in their ethics, like if an animal is hurting, one should euthanize it, but not humans, for example. If one's pet is wounded, one should euthanize it, but and one shouldn't bury the animals if they're likely to get hurt extremely bad. But wildlife animals can do what they want. That's another one. There's like tons of
do you
like
know what? Do you know what means when he says ethics are evening out the scales? It's not. It's even on our dollar. Like, what the hell does that mean? Like, ethics is about sustainability. So if I create like a sustainable torture machine, it's well balanced. Well balanced between my getting nuts out because I love looking at suffering and their screams of agony. Is that what you think is balanced system? Like, mix of my sadistic pleasure and their screams of brutal agony. Is that considered balanced enough for you, sir? Or is it perhaps about pain reduction, like we were talking about? I mean, what did you mean by balance? What do you mean by scales? What do you mean by any of this, Mr. Jack Laws? You have to be a little more specific than some vague statement, some woo-wah shit that's supposed to make me be like, wow, I pondered that for 10 years and I finally think I understand now. No. I scared them off. They're not like watching me anymore.
so they are. I remember. I believe it was Danny Shine, perhaps. I think
I love
he
Danny.
said to someone, "Do you think would they create someone if they had like a 1 in 4 chance of getting cancer or something?" Might have been Danny Shine, and they said no, it's wouldn't be okay with creating someone like that. Then he revealed that it's actually a 1 in a 4 chance of getting cancer. I don't think like natalists really look at the statistics of the likely bad things that can happen, rather than read through them. They have a very good sense of what kind of risks there are, perhaps, or even if they didn't have that, even if they knew there was like half their kids would die at a couple of months into their life, they would still do it, I guess.
Hmm. No, that's definitely a good point. Yeah, if you have more than 4 kids, one of them is gonna pretty much die of cancer. Well, one of them is gonna get cancer for sure. And if you have like more than 5 or 6, one of them is gonna die of cancer. So it's like you're pretty much just sentencing someone to getting cancer whenever you have like multiple kids.
It will be like likely for one of them to get cancer, but it's not guaranteed that they will get it for sure. There might be some kind of slim chance they don't, I guess. Yeah, that's right. If there was a larger amount, then it would be guaranteed that one of them will get it for sure. Like if the line of progeny went on for a long time, it all sorts of things would be guaranteed, and great lists of all the harms that can happen. Uh, it wouldn't be like a slim chance of it happening when there's enough people that they are risking experience with.
Hmm. Jack Law asks some silly question. You think we should save the ones who will not save themselves? Question mark. Yeah, I mean, why they don't have free will? It's not like they chose to be in whatever situation they're in. So it's like, why shouldn't you help them? It's not like they're any more deserving or less deserving than anybody else. My point of view is that they will hate you for it. Well, guess what? You shouldn't punish someone just for hating you or liking you or whatever. This isn't a popularity contest. This game of life isn't. Uh, you shouldn't judge people just because of how they view you. So things are a little more important than just you, Jack Law. But wait, I think you're the ethical one, not me. I'm sorry. Take back what I said. Everything I said is just silly Billy shit. I'm unethical. I forgot.
Yeah, because ethics to them is about it's more ethical to let people have the right to have fun and make sentience because it's fun, and fun sometimes for the sentience they are creating when they're not suffering. That's what ethics means to them. But for us, it's like suffering prevention.
Pretty much. Everyone's saving them. So when people direct the hate of the world at you because you're trying to push your ethics on them, everyone's trying to save them. Yeah, you should still be a good person. It's literally kind of what ethics is about, bro. I mean, if they're being an asshole, you're allowed to be an asshole back to them, and you're allowed to be a dickhead to people. You're not like just supposed to be like stoic, like, Ugh, I am not allowed to be mean. No, I'm allowed to call you a dickhead if you're being a dickhead. I'm allowed to say you're basically a rapist if you're basically a rapist. I'm allowed to say you're better off being dead if you're better off being dead. Like, we're allowed to be blunt and truthful. But when it comes down to it, you shouldn't, just be like ob- blatantly like rude and like just trying to like if these people are dicks to you and disagree with you, like you shouldn't just be like going around like trying to cause them pain. If they're gonna be an asshole, you can be brutally honest with them and basically be like, "Hey, you're a piece of shit, and this is why you're a piece of shit," and you can make them feel bad. But you don't have also at the same time, you shouldn't just be like, "Oh, like fuck you." Well, if you mean by save, by as in like what do you mean by well, if you mean save as in like primordial sense of in like capping someone, then sure. I mean, but yeah, I don't know what you mean by save. Yeah, because you haven't really been explicit about any of your definitions, Jack. You've been kind of just talking out of your ass this whole time and hoping that I can just like, I don't know, bring clarity to you somehow when you don't even want to have clarity. So, Mr. Jack Law 2.0, then you're just causing more suffering, Jack. You should let depressed people kill themselves unless they're an antinatalist, ethicist, or some type of really super vegan who's doing a lot of that. But basically, you should just let them die and take the hate out on you. Who cares if they take the hate out on you? It's irrelevant. You think you're right when they take their hate out on you and take their hate out. What? You know what he's saying there, Seb? Okay, that is what I'm
Uh,
asking. I think so too. Oh, okay, never mind. No, he said never mind.
that's right.
He said he understood what I was saying. That's what I was asking. But yeah, okay, I gotcha, I gotcha. But yeah, basically, yeah, no, I basically think that if someone's really suicidal, that they should be allowed to kill themselves, and let that unless they're net good to the world, aka they're like a vegan, antinatalist or whatever, then hey, if they're polite, they're polite. If they're not a polite, then they have an obligation to live, basically. I mean, would I frown upon a person who's a good human being for killing themselves, even if they could have done a lot more for their life? Not really. I completely understand it. I wouldn't be like, oh, how could you? The world's pretty fucking shitty. But at the same time, why does that not translate to any way that helps themselves? I mean, I don't. What do you mean? Why do we have standards? The standard is just as simple as basically preventing more pain than you cause. Like if you're causing a lot of pain in the world, you have to prevent more pain than you cause. Otherwise, that's my standard of being a good person. It's that simple. If you cause more pain than you prevent, you're just a blight then, and I think you're a bad person, which is most people, unfortunately. That is still a standard. I mean, yeah, but why do we have standards? Because I mean, it's not really a standard, it's just kind of utility, my friend. It's more just like, it's not like I'm setting a standard, it's more like it's rule of utility, basically. It's just like, if you prevent more, then you basically slide over into like the good category. If you cause more pain, then you're in the bad category. Basically, it's just classic utility, but if you negative utilitarian twist. So it's not really much of a standard. It's more just a rule of utility. You can justify anything. It's not hard. What do you mean? You can't just say that without trying to explain what you mean by that. I mean, yeah, if you can justify anything. I'm a consequentialist slash utilitarian. You can justify any action so long as it prevents more pain. I mean, that's quite literally how that works. I mean, prevent one rape by prevent 10 rapes by causing one rape, you do it. It's your obligation. You prevent 9 mindless people that will be suffering, basically, which is a win. It's basic utilities to understand. It's just understanding things. There's no rules that can ever be truly followed at all times. So it's just the rule. The thing is utility, my friend. I don't know how if that's mind breaking to you, but that's quite literally just how reality works and how ethics work. So any situation besides some of the extremes, and it's pretty damn obvious what you do. Extremes is just everybody's programmed in and follow this like stuff like, oh, you can never do that, and I'm like, but why though? If you were that person, you'd want that to occur, and they're like, oh, but how can we truly know that? And then it's just like, given identity nihilism, given identity nihilism, you should basically realize that no, it is just a utilitarian equation. I wish people would just come on to the podcast. Like, I'd be paid for this thing so I could have people come on here. Seems to be you're moving to the extremes fast. Not necessarily, my friend.
Extremes is have never liked the word extreme, like anything they don't disagree with this. Yeah, they just say it's extreme without really telling why it's extreme, without giving any kinds of explanations.
I mean, I may be moving to the extremes, but yeah, I mean, it's basically just extreme is a really good way to represent certain things. But if you don't want to like, if it's somehow still hard for you, I can go into the mundane, normal things that, like you have to go to the doctor, and to go to the doctor makes you uncomfortable. You are going to go through some pain to go to the doctor. Inflicting pain on yourself is fine. What about if it's another person? What if you're a mom or dad and you have a child and they have a toothache? Are you allowed to violate your child's consent to bring them to the doctor? Yes. Why, though? It's because you're preventing net pain. All things could break down to just pain reduction. You can do it for basically anything. It's just, the extremes are a little bit more hard to see things, but I do it for other cases all the time. In terms of, for these cases, maybe it's not working for you. So we'll do little cases like doctor visits and whatever you want. But, to demonstrate essentially that, pain is bad, pleasure is good, but it's not necessary to do unless you think you have an obligation to give me a hand job, in which then, hey, I'll let you know my address and when we can meet. So, I love that line. Just telling people they can give me a hand job because it's just all these pleasure-loving folks. So if you're like, no, we don't have just obligations to pay. Well, they're just nihilists. They're just like, we don't have obligations at all. And then I'm like, okay, cool. So you're cool pedophiles and shit, of course. I was in an argument a couple days ago with one of my friends. He's basically a nihilist of sorts. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that maybe this isn't true, but I have a feeling often that the underlying issue with nihilists is they don't care that much to begin with. If they really cared enough, would they really be nihilists? But then again, there are some nihilists that also adopts an anti-nihilist position, even though it seems contradictory.
Yeah, I don't understand it still, but I mean, hey. But no, yeah, he's like a straight nihilist. Like he's just like, man, I think he's like a subjectivist and nihilist at the same time. It's weird. Like he's like a subjectivist and nihilist at the same time. I don't even understand how you can do that, but he basically thinks that like I don't know that you can just kind of do whatever because there's no rules to the universe. But at the same time, he's also like, no, but I wouldn't do things because it makes me feel bad and it's wrong. And I'm like, well, what makes it wrong? He's like, well, because it makes me feel bad. And I'm like, okay, so you think things are only wrong because you feel bad? So if you didn't exist, that thing would be okay to do for other people? And he's like, no, I think it would still be bad. And I'm like, okay, so you do think some things are objectively bad? And I'm like, why do you think those things are bad though? He's like, well, because it breaks down this pain, it causes pain to people. I'm like, okay, so you think pain is bad? He's like, yeah. Then everything just kind of goes topsy-turvy at that point, and then he's like, yeah, but I don't think you have to stop pain from occurring in other people. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? I'm not sure if I buy what you're saying or if you just want to one up. What I'm saying is consistent, my friend. So if you think I'm one upping you, I say thank you. I'm glad that you finally admit that I'm one upping you. But when it comes down to everything I'm saying is 100% consistent. Seb can vouch for the fact that everything I've said is consistent to what I've said in the past. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So when it comes down to it, I'm not trying to one up you. I'm not playing word games trying to one up you. It's just quite literally, if you believe I'm one upping you, I'm not playing some game of semantics. It's quite literally just native utilitarianism fucking wins. So.
Yeah, when it comes to like not contradicting oneself, if one isn't a negative utilitarian and believes pleasure can outweigh like a hard suffering, then there's a lot of things that one like has to admit to one has to admit to being correct if one really says if one really means that pleasure can outweigh extreme suffering.
Good night.
Oh yeah, are you going to, oh yeah, you said good night to someone else. Okay,
Yeah, I say good night to my
my bad.
mom.
Yeah.
If you look at yourself and say that is winning, oh yeah, I'd say this is winning home slice. I mean, I don't know how many subscribers you have, Jack, but I'm just gonna say that I'm winning. I have some subscribers and I have a YouTube channel, and I'm willing to live stream, and even though you're apparently not willing to come on here, so I'd say in terms of not being a coward, I'm winning, and in terms of having a channel, I'm winning. So fuck you, Jack.
Yeah, I think maybe wants you to feel some shame. A lot of these atheists wants other people to feel bad for
Pretty
their
much.
beliefs. Like you have gotten a lot of subscribers lately, almost 70 now. You you will get more than me in a few months, so that's good. And you can also feel like you have more of a purpose the more subscribers have and the more people it is you can reach out to.
Maybe. It just makes the show better, he says. Fair enough. I mean, I don't really do this for show purposes. I do it more for. And you're that mad? I always am mad, my dude. I'm never not mad. Life is worthy of being angry at, my friend. Especially when people are just trying to troll for no reason. When there's people that are literally dying and being tortured to death and shit, and you're just like, LMAO. I'm just gonna make fun of you for believing that suffering's bad. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a little bit of a waste of my time. So, to think a valid reason to be mad, given you're asking me questions and you're kind of just wasting both of our time. So fuck you, Jack. Kiss you right on the lips, you little fag. Just kidding. uh,
Have you ever seen those YouTube shorts of perhaps I have it's these YouTube shorts where like people give homeless people a large sum of money, people giving other people cars, stuff like that. I'm sure most of it, if not all, is staged.
mm. Yeah, I've seen some like Mr. Beast videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen like even people that aren't Mr. Beast doing it. And it seems like some pranks are getting more popular again now.
Pranks are getting popular
Uh,
again. Oh
yeah,
no.
or maybe they've already been sort of popular, but it used to be like everywhere on YouTube, and then it died down a bit, I think, and it became less offensive.
True. Do you have a theory of why they're back in full swing or no?
I'm not sure. It's just
Algorithm.
it could just be me just seeing it more since I'm scrolling through YouTube Shorts sometimes. But there is better things. Yeah, but it you have Joe Rogan talking about UFC fighters to like people perhaps been given money and different stuff. So it could be just that it's popping more on my YouTube shorts due to some algorithm after I watched some amounts of videos, and it was just popular all along because for a big period of time I haven't checked out these prank videos in a while.
Hmm.
So I was also reading that Ozzy Osbourne autobiography.
No, it's yeah, Osborne autobiography. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it was very good. There was he talked about working in a slaughterhouse.
Hmm.
He did, and he said he even admitted that on bad days it's like us. It's basically Auschwitz on bad days. That's what he said. Ozzy Osbourne, and that's not someone who is a even is a vegetarian or a vegan or something like that.
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, even when I try to relax, read something a book I might enjoy, one gets reminded of the horror. Even when one tries to forget about the bad things and just relax, one sees something. It seems impossible if one is an AN or to. It seems that everywhere, every when one thinks or if one sees stuff or if one watches a show, one thinks of every time someone has a bad thing that's happened to them, one realizes that everyone is incessantly aware that they, they feel like that because they were born. That's how it's like for me a lot of the time.
Yeah. Birth is the catalyst of all suffering and death, man. It all starts there. People don't see
Yeah,
that though.
it's not something I can get rid of. I can't just not be that aware of it. It seems like I'm aware of it. Ozzy Osbourne also he did some kind of prank after he was done with his slaughterhouse work. He told said that sometimes pigs were boiled alive and sometimes the cows needed and pigs needed more than one bolt for them to die. The
Yeah.
animals would often fight back, kick the slaughterhouse workers, and so on. But one time he got back from slaughterhouse work and he went into he went to a bar or a pub, I guess, and he had this cow's eye he had, and he put it in the drink of some innocent woman. Then
That's
she
fucked up.
puked, and that's what he did for fun. Like a lot of the times, he was done with slaughterhouse work.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up. That's ruining someone's drink, which is expensive, and it's not very consensual. It's kind of a violation of consent. Not that I really believe in consent, but I mean, it's a violation of someone's consent in a way that like causes net harm. So it's not cool. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
fucked up.
fucked up, but for some reason, when I read about it, it's very interesting that someone has actually done that. But for me to derive some kind of interest and some curiosity into something fucked up, isn't it really bad? It's like, as long as I'm not being influenced and I'm not starting to put like house eyes in people's drinks and stuff.
Yeah. I don't even know what Jack is talking about. He's still thinking I'm trying to one-up him for some reason. Hmm. What don't you buy? The experience. All I'm saying basically is experience generates value, and pain has more value than pleasure does. And pleasure is probably just an illusion for the most part. So I don't know what there's really to agree or disagree with, but you're talking to me? Okay, who? Dude, on my screen it goes this, and then this. You haven't spoken, you haven't said anything in 3 minutes, bro. So maybe try typing a comment that's not gonna get censored by YouTube or StreamYard or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I didn't get impression at all that you were speaking to Win Brandt. I just got impression you were explaining your view, explaining why it's correct.
I think you are the troll who uses the keywords of ethics. Dude, this guy hasn't even fucking. This dude literally hasn't even been talking. He's been just like talking over his ass, like going around in circles and shit. I don't even think he knows what he's talking about. As I said, my dude, there's a link here for you to come on to the show. You could have clicked it 100 times by now. You could have clicked it 1,000 times probably. So come on to the show and talk like with your fucking words, big man. Or, I don't know, maybe wonder, are you the troll? Are you the troll? 'Cause it sounds like you're the troll. I think a troll's just telling me that I'm a troll just to see if he can get a reaction.
It seems useful to sometimes block people if they aren't really doing much for discussion. One has to repeat oneself a lot and can move further. Or yeah, if that's the case, it's best to block someone because the goal isn't to like let everybody have a chance to interact and or say their points. That's not really the goal. The goal is to co- convince people and stuff.
True. You have a good point. Speaking of that. There we go. He's now been blocked from commenting. Truly, the first person ever blocked from commenting. I was tired of his bullshit, so.
Nice.
Thanks for the suggestion, Seb.
It's always nice to be of help.
Indeed.
When I'm on here, I tend to talk a lot about AN and also on the Do Not Watch stream. No, I don't really talk as much on the Do Not Watch stream as I do on here. But with my one friend who's AN who also lives in Norway, who like on the psilocybin. We've done psilocybin together and other stuff, and that was fun. But we never talk about AN with each other. We just made some kind of unspoken agreement that no, we didn't really make an unspoken agreement. We just uh, we, we don't. But I don't know how it's like for you with people you talk to that are also AN. Do you talk to them a lot about AN, or do you? How is it like for you when
I
it's like
don't
a
really have any
private level?
antinatalist friends. I mean, I just have the people that are come onto my YouTube channel, I guess, and they'll talk about it, I guess, a little bit, but they prefer to talk about other things. I prefer to talk about antinatalism and ethics, though I'm willing to talk about other things.
I thought it might be good to talk about different things, since if one only talks about AN, one will attract a lot of the ANs and kind of discourage natalists from seeing the content that much a lot, because they will be turned off and click away from it most of the time.
Hmm.
So maybe it's good sometimes to not talk about AN to get more natalists to come on and be interested, and then when they have subscribed, one can talk about it and stuff.
Yeah, the bug crushing
Even
content.
in Mandem has like other stuff. He talks about like his physics and politics and determinism, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I should probably make some videos on determinism. Hmm. And psychological hedonism. Hmm.
Yeah, that's yeah. So maybe that's problem with most AN channels on you. Hmm. Uh, I feel like back then I think before maybe AN content got more views. Maybe people just got so used to AN content on YouTube, or maybe a lot of the big channels died down a bit.
Yo, who's still watching? Is Jamie still here?
Who?
One of my friends.
Okay.
She was watching earlier. Says I have one viewer, and I'm guessing it's probably her, but I have no clue. Hmm.
I haven't found out how to live stream things on Reddit. I've seen other people do it.
Through StreamYard or just like on Reddit
I'm
itself?
not sure. I just seen some people play some instruments on Reddit, and it gave me the idea that maybe some ANs can do some live streams on Reddit too.
Oh shit.
But it isn't that intuitive to find out how to do it. I would have to look it up.
Yeah, but it also seems like it would be a little bit weird because like you'd have to live stream like inside of a Reddit community already. So I mean you have to like find a community that's unrelated to antinatalism but kind of related. So like maybe you can go to like r/philosophy or like r/reproductive something. I don't fucking know, but it seems like you'd have to like choose your community to like carefully, I guess, kind of.
I've never liked how I feel like using a euphemism now for natalists. I'm so tired of the word natalists because for some
I just call
reason
them
I always
breeders.
say so much. But maybe a euphemism.
I'm an asshole, so I just call them breeders for the most part.
Yeah, so the we could call them breeders, and yeah, sometimes I get tired of certain words. Uh, so um, so the breeders they always say like antinatalism is wrong, but they never give any good reasons, like all the reasons they can give to defend their positions. Every single thing they can do to defend their position is like a logical fallacy in some way, be it appeal to nature, appeal to normalcy, uh, appeal to authority, all kinds of stuff. Uh, but they can never really say why, or give an example for why pressure can outweigh extreme pain.
No, that's true. I mean, it always comes basically down to nihilism is the response, or just they don't have one. And I don't think nihilism's a valid response. It's the cop-out answer. Because it's pretty obvious that a nihilist doesn't want to experience suffering. So, they're basically just trying to bounce out of responsibility for the most part by. I should revive this guy. Oh,
I feel like a lot of these breeders has a
I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay. I think nowadays there are more options for people to breed with whoever, to breed with like anyone at all, with all these apps now. And
Oh yeah.
so if someone has very undesirable traits, they can find other people also with undesirable traits much more easily, I guess. And then uh, there are some traits that are not that I guess used to be useful, like storing fat, but it helped people like not be as hungry before and like eating a lot, but nowadays it causes people to be obese, and obese people they will likely have children too, but it can't be healthy for like fetuses to be in the inside of some kind of fat person. Not the most like healthy place to develop.
True. Hmm. Hmm. Do you think that actually has much of an effect on the fetus, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really want to think about it too
No,
much actually.
that's fair.
It's but there are like people like, for example, Nicholas Tesla. Heard he had a lot of shit going on in his childhood. He had like when he was growing up, he was constantly hungry, constantly ill. But he turned out to invent a couple of things and turned out to be smart in the end. So I guess despite some circumstances, one can overcome some obstacles one has been faced with. But it, I just feel like that some breeders like are like I don't feel like they do everything they can to like improve the life quality of their upcoming child or and stuff by being healthy themselves.
No, you're definitely right. My parents aren't the most healthy people in the world. They're not the most unhealthy either, but yeah, they're not healthy per se. Hmm. But yeah, it's definitely way worse than other families. I've seen people that are like have like walk. I've been working in retail for a while, so a lot of people that are just walking around with like fat as shit, and they have like their kids and stuff. And I'm like, just like growing to beluga whales.
I was in a conversation with like I always see when kids are crying. I really see that they're very miserable. Like a lot of people in funerals don't cry as hard as children do every single day. They're cry like, and it's different from other non-human animals like dogs or pigs. One doesn't see them wailing and about and crying and being seen in distress that much in if nothing like bad happens to them, one doesn't see clear signs of distress. But with children, one sees that a lot. Yeah, I guess some bad stuff does happen to them. They have all these desires and they want stuff all the time. Um, but a lot of people brush it off and see it as normal. I told someone that these children, when they're crying, they are really suffering a lot. They are hurting really bad inside. But the person I was telling this to didn't seem to believe they were having as bad of a time as I think they were, and said it was just normal. But usually, when people are crying, when they are upset, they are hurt, so there's no reason to think that when children are crying, they don't feel the same.
Yeah, no, you definitely have a point. I mean, if I like really have cried when I'm well, a couple. I guess I cry for beauty for sometimes. If I appreciate like art, I'll cry sometimes. That's the only other exception is like art or beauty. My adult age, I've cried more from sadness, but I mean, I guess I've cried more from sadness most of my life. Sadness is typically the reason people cry for. It's very rare that people cry for other reasons. Yeah, I'm still awake, Kane. How's it going? It's only 11:10 right here. It's not even midnight yet. Oh,
Yeah, I'm very. uh, It's very unlikely that for me to cry when was the last time I ever cried. I haven't cried in in several months, maybe over. Yeah, maybe a little bit, very like minuscule crying, but other than that, but it was the last time I like really cried a lot and bawled my eyes out. Yeah, I don't think I've cried like hard for like over a year or 2 years or you know so long. And I guess for some they might see that as a good thing. But one cries for a reason. It's like to it's some kind of coping mechanism. Otherwise, one wouldn't cry.
Yeah, I mean, I only cry from sadness when I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's like when you're overwhelmed that people typically cry when they can't like express their feelings through thoughts or words.
And sometimes I cry from cutting onions.
Cutting onions,
Yes.
understandable. I don't really cry from cutting onions, but I don't really cut onions very often. So
Uh,
maybe if I did,
okay.
maybe if I cut more onions, I'd cry. Antidepressants numb you from crying. Well, I actually started crying more from when I started using antidepressants. I mean, but I think it's more just like I started using antidepressants, and then a few months later, my friend kind of killed themselves. So it's more just like depression via the fact that one of the few people I've ever cared for is no longer with us.
I feel like I think even one is one usually starts taking antidepressants when one is in a I've gone through a horrible thing like for, and when I takes an antidepressant and but people tend to be less saddened by things over time. So after one takes an antidepressant and if one gets less saddened by it over time, like one almost always does. This psychiatrists and these pharmaceutical companies will take credit and said, yeah, this antidepressant did that, but it would have probably would have, but did it really hurry up the process? Would one really get less sad over time? I guess, or less sad faster. I mean, yeah. A lot of these cases, these antidepressants makes people feel worse too.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah, mine haven't really done much of anything for me. I'd say basically mine of just kind of spending money for no reason.
then it has been to some kind of detriment for you because you wasted some time which you could have spent on other things and you wasted some money on something that didn't help.
That's true.
The money could have been spent on something like a good Fortnite skins or something. Nah, I just kidding.
I mean, honestly, Fortnite skins are a little bit more long term of less more long term than my fucking useless ass medication seem to be doing. So
And with all kinds of drugs, people build up a tolerance to them. So
yeah,
one eventually has to take more of them, and if one takes more of them, one can get more side effects, so on and so on. And people also get, when they take antidepressants, they often get some kind of, they talk more about their depression and whatever else they're going through. I mean, have a therapist to vent to. Something I also think is like not that useful is like therapists or one can talk about one's problems. They don't seem to do much. Or the only benefit would be that it can be nice to talk to someone. Like if one talks to a close friend or a family member and about one's problem, they can be hurt. So one can be reluctant to talk about it with them. But with a therapist, if one talks about one's problems, they might be hurt, but not as much, and one would care less if they are hurt by what one says, because one isn't that close to them.
pretty much. It's beneficial to be able to vent to a therapist because you can't legally get in trouble and your relations are very platonic and professional.
I also feel like venting to um, like I don't vent a lot. I don't vent much at all. I just feel like that's never really helped me to vent. Here's some like the more one vents, the more one keeps stuff in one's mind. In the more one is reminded of what one's predicament is and stuff. There have been times where I vented and uh, it has felt good, but it does feel good to talk about anything really. So one can really talk about anything and feel good. One doesn't need to vent. But I guess maybe for some people it's different and it gives them more benefits than from what I have experienced.
Someone says you need a cat. I don't know why.
Me or you?
You for some reason. I don't know why. I already have a cat, so I mean,
Yeah, I don't need a cat. I think I need. I have a musical instrument, I guess, that can make notes and stuff, and to a guitar and a bass, and I can start to exercise. So I don't think I need a cat.
they think cats will cure your depression. Might help, but I'm not sure it'll cure it.
It can also be the cause if the cat dies.
That's
If the
true.
cat has dies or has from old age, it has to be put down or something. I don't want to experience that, so I would not want to have a cat.
No, that's true. They only last so long, and you never know when they'll get sick. Marco almost took the L like a week or two ago because he got like 2 weeks ago because of his random mystery virus.
Well, what was the cure for what
Just
the
some antibiotics or something, antiviral stuff to help like boost his immune system.
yeah, antibiotics can be tough stuff to take it. But it's far better than having like a virus.
That's true.
But I don't really need a cat because I'm not I'm I feel relatively yeah, I feel slightly uncomfortable, but I wouldn't say I feel like a melancholia every day. I just feel slight and comfort, but I don't. It's not like I'm saddened all the time.
Uh, Cat will cure depression.
Uh, uh, I guess yeah, I don't feel like ever getting a pet, uh, be it dog or cat or anything. Like a cat would be like better since I don't have to walk it and pick up the dog shit and stuff.
No, that's fair. No, cats are way better than dogs,
I
and
would
they're
feel
easier to take care of themselves,
yeah.
and they're just more cute, which might be subjective, but I think it's the fact.
I think it could be true. Like a lot of dogs like big or like menacing uh, bulldogs or some breeds of them. They look a bit intimidating. But
Yeah,
when has a cat ever looked not? Yeah, there are some cases where there's this famous grumpy cat. Was someone made a meme out of that cat? Always looked grumpy, but most cats seem more friendly.
it's true. I mean, I've heard the grumpy cat was actually pretty friendly. It just looked mean. Though I know some mean cats that look friendly. So
It's like some people too, like Mark Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad and Beth.
That's a good question. What time is it in Norway? I think it's pretty late. FBI cut the line. Yeah, it's been really laggy out of nowhere. I don't know what's going on with my internet. It's kind of shit. But my game is lagging that I'm playing also. Howdy.
I was going to say some people. So there's some people look very serious. Like I don't know the actor's name, but the character Mark Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul looks as serious as anybody I've ever seen. It's like the equivalent of the grumpy cat in the human grumpy cat.
Human grumpy cat.
Yeah, the human version of the grumpy cat. Not sure you've probably seen Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul or have you? I guess not everybody has.
I've heard of Breaking Bad, but I haven't really seen much of it.
Guess I. He has all these wrinkles and he just looks super serious, especially in some scene. Guess his voice is also serious too, and his demeanor in the show.
Oh,
Do you feel like when it comes to stuff like ethics that there's like some kind of dead end in the amount of stuff one can say Often one is forced to repeat oneself because lot, which is good if something works, then one should, and if it's the best response, then one should.
I mean,
One should
yeah, it
say
feels
so.
really repetitive at times. Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know how you get out of that funk, though. Unfortunately. Ooh, a triple take. I'll take that. Hmm. What time is it in Norway, by the way?
6:33
In the
in the
morning?
morning. Yes,
Oof,
but I had a good sleep.
that's nice. Yeah. What time do you go to bed usually around?
Yeah, it varies. Ideally, I know I should go to bed around the same time and wake up around the same time, but I don't. Even though I should. It's what I heard. It's the best, but people don't do what's in their best interest a lot of the time, including me.
Oh, that's fair. Neither do I.
The human mind is often a battle of short-term gratification and like long-term well-being, and often chooses like short-term pleasure over like long-term wellness.
Unfortunately, that's true. Hammer point rounds. Oh my. I cannot not take those.
Lately I've asked some people this question, but if you have some kind of hatred or anger towards someone or some people, is there anything you do to help lessen the anger or hatred?
I guess I just remember that there's no such thing as free will, so it's not like I can really. It's not like they really did anything to deserve my feelings towards them. I guess there's that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's what Do Not Watch says a lot too.
Mm, Another thing, I guess I don't know what else I do. I
There's
guess.
not much to do. It seems like that's what I've been thinking too. That if when I have some unintentional thoughts and is reminded by some stuff in the past and uh, especially when the world is determined, there isn't anything one can do about it really.
Yeah, pretty much. Another thing, I guess, is just to acknowledge like stoicism is best for the self. Like being upset at another person just kind of hurts you. You know, like if you're being upset, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're gonna make the other person upset. So it just kind of hurts you to be upset, having negative feelings. So stoicism combined with lack of free will, I basically are the two things that I kind of consider.
Something I've thought about too is that for that a lot of sadism actually comes from the source of a lot of sadism in a lot of people comes from like compassion and but if someone is antisocial, if there wouldn't be too much of a need to like avenge like avenge someone
Mm.
or I guess you would know better than me. So
Well, people with antisocial personality disorder can have really strong loyalty to people, but I don't know about anything like too emotional. But yeah, they can definitely have strong loyalties to people. So if someone like were to have like, their friend like betrayed, it depends on how close they were to that friend, but they might consider like an obligation of themselves to get revenge upon for their friend or whatever. But that's something because antisocial personality disorder is weird. It's like one of those ones where it's like there's a lot of loyalty involved and a lot of lack of anything going on. It's a mix. Oh, if I win this round, it'd be awesome. I have 8 kills. I'm currently kill leader.
I saw in the news it was that submarine that was going to take a look at Titanic, and then they knew exactly when those people were going to run out of oxygen.
Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be sometime yesterday.
Yeah, but then I saw that the submarine got wrecked, and yeah, I thought the 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 pain of just being exposed to that much pressure at once, that deep in the ocean, must maybe it was a quicker way to go than just drowning. It couldn't have felt good.
No, you're definitely right. Drowning is not exactly pleasant, so I'm sure suffocating or being crushed by pressure is a far more pleasant way to go. I'd rather get crushed by pressure.
Yeah, it might be quicker, but
Yeah, I'd rather get crushed by pressure.
yeah, it seemed unnecessary to have to go extremely deep in the ocean to have to take a look at the Titanic wreck and risk lives. I guess in the I guess if one is a promoter, then yeah,
Yeah, basically that's kind of how I look at it. I'm just like, yeah, they're rich bastards and their money can be relocated, and given that death's good for the ones who die anyways, I'm kind of just like, whatever. It's probably for the best.
but if one isn't a promoter list, then on in their view, why if maybe they didn't anticipate that it was going to go so bad and stuff.
Yeah. Hello, whoever's watching. It's one person watching, but I have no clue who that is.
Oh yeah, I've gotten the moderator role. So very nice. I got that's nice.
Yeah, no problem.
So I thought I would have to like accept something, but it seemed like I just have it now. So
Yeah, I figure you're worthy of moderating.
thanks.
Well, let's watch some videos. Or something.
Uh, is Jack back?
Jack?
Or is that an old?
That's a old message, I think.
Okay.
I think Jack is still being banned.
Oh yeah, I'm just seeing on the YouTube video. I'm seeing I haven't updated it.
The
He did make
anti-FLism
some
guy
comments
made
in a video
fucking
that were
other
a little
upload.
suspect. And a lot of people, including myself, did kind of call it out as anti-Semitism. Sort of coded white supremacist language that they use. And if you don't know that, okay, maybe you're not a bigot, but I mean, you're kind of an idiot for putting that on the internet and not having any understanding why people would be like, what did he mean by that? That sounds like language that I'm used to hearing from certain types of people.
Some German people had a right to resent some Jewish people after World War I, because there's a lot of people making a lot of fucking money off a lot of people's misery, and some of them were Jewish, and they were the ones that had the money and doing the lending. Lending was a big part of that. And
I mean, he's right,
they don't
so I
want
don't know
me
why
being the
this is.
poster child for Holocaust denier, because frankly, I'm going to make Holocaust denying look too fucking good, and they know it. I'm saying to you, you're the one with the extraordinary theory. You're the one with this theory that it was deliberate, malicious effort to exterminate Jews. And I'm saying the evidence, just no fucking way adds up to that. Why did they let any of them out of the country then? Why did they do that? Why did they basically put them up for sale and say, here, give us a little bit of money and we'll give you a Jew? Why did they do that? if the intent was extermination or eradication. It's just a pile of shit. No, I don't buy the entire, Adolf Hitler and his gang were all sitting there saying, how can we kill all the Jews? How can we kill all the Jews? And their plan was, okay, let's spend a whole bunch of money building prisoner camps, and, we'll send them thousands of miles and trains and guards and all the whole infrastructure for that, and we'll feed them, and we'll tattoo them, we'll do all this other stuff, we'll document each one of them, we'll go through all that crap just so we can put them in a gas chamber. I mean, yeah, okay, I don't buy that fucking theory, sorry. No sale, asshole.
Fuck these people. We need fucking laws that say, you fucking lie, you know, get your fucking legs cut off or something.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, to be fair, it's probably taken out of context. But even if it wasn't, no comment. The truth. They don't like the truth. But it doesn't make sense. So I'm sure it's taken out of context to some extent or another. But I mean, I agree with some of his points that he made, and being like, like the Holocaust wasn't only just because of ethnic cleansing. But at the same time, I don't know if I'm sure he. Yeah, that's the thing. I would agree that it's not only about that. So I'd have to watch the whole entire video of what he says and the rest of the context to know what he's talking about. But yeah, it's an interesting little video, little tidbit from our anti-ethicist friend in the quotes. No, he's absolutely correct, but we're not allowed to talk about it. Yeah, I mean, I respect Gary's opinion, that's for sure. I mean, I'm not sure if he's right or wrong about that topic. I have to think about it a little more, but I mean, it's definitely interesting. Hmm. But I don't want to say it publicly. I mean, I know like the Jewish people kind of own a lot of the banks and stuff like that, but I don't really know what he was referring to by like the Germans weren't planning to slaughter them all. Because to me, it seems kind of obvious that the Germans definitely wanted to slaughter a lot of the Jews. But I don't know why. I guess they might have been just trying to reset the money system or something like that. But I don't really know if that has anything to do with it, frankly. So, oh, chosen people. Oh, I don't believe in chosen people thing. But if he's being like anti-religion, then hey, based. But I don't think that was the case. Was anti-religion, so might have been. But I have no clue where the Holocaust happened in Hitler's mind. I'm not going to read the book. Wasn't their plan at all? Well, I'm curious what you think the plan was. Should make a video on. Just kidding.
It does seem very counterintuitive for world domination to use so much resources to like slaughter a huge chunk of the population.
Yeah.
And why not just take over the world, and then now that would be bad, but if seems, yeah, if it took over the world and then did, no, I guess it would. There are some ways it could be more effective for him to do the evil, I guess, but I don't know if that's such a good thing to talk about. Effective ways people could do more evil.
No, it's true. Yeah. Hmm.
Our next speaker, Jonathan, will talk to us about ethics.
Everybody. So as Matthew explained at the beginning, all of us are supposed to deliver a talk with a concrete message that you can all take away and apply to your lives. And it seems like all the other speakers in the program have come with positive, inspiring messages about how to live with greater energy, greater vitality, greater creativity, greater ecstasy. And here I am giving a talk about ethics. So I feel a little bit like the party pooper in the room. The one who says, "Well, a little bit of fun. A little bit of fun's okay, but not too much." So I could give a talk. I could be giving a talk about how to focus more on being gentle with oneself and being kind to others. And
Never
it's an
heard
important
of the
message because it
guy.
embodies
It's nice more people are talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad people are talking about suffering-focused ethics. This guy looks like a well put together chap.
Here's the
Also.
goatee even. Bonus points for the goatee.
Yeah, I got them.
principle of compassion to oneself, compassion to others. But I'd like to go a little deeper than that. So I'd like to talk to you about a core issue, which I think is very important, and which actually represents really the core of my ethical philosophy. So I'd like to ask you to bear with me and let's people walk on the dark side. I'd like you to imagine an axis extending out in both directions, an axis that represents subjective well-being. Now, on one side we have happiness ranging from calm, contentedness, and then extending out to the extremes of ecstatic bliss. And on the other side, we have suffering ranging from minor disappointments, mild pain, out towards depression, the social exclusion, the pain of certain diseases, and extending way out to the extremes of horrible suffering that include torture and similar experiences. Now, I guess everybody in the room here has experienced bliss. But who occupies that far end of the spectrum? That extreme suffering. And what is it really like? I think for most of us, it's probably like some sort of dark dungeon that we've heard about, but have never actually visited. But it really matters. And why does it matter? Because our priorities both as individuals and for our society, depend on knowing all the relevant facts. And the most relevant facts are about subjective experience. What is it actually like for a sentient being? Now, there are many examples of extreme suffering, and I'd just like to offer a few of what it is actually like in that space in hell that some organisms, that some creatures have to experience. So let's take solitary confinement. There's an American prisoner named William Blake who spent more than 25 years in solitary.
Well, I already submitted my reason. My reason is as experience generates value, experience is worth more than 1,000 words. And when it comes down to it, pain has more value than pleasure. So if you're going to, given utilitarianism, if you can prevent a net pain by having a child, you should do so. Meaning, if you could systematically bring a bunch of children into the world to extinct all animal life, you should do so. Basically, that's my answer to your challenge. The end.
Confinement. And I'm going to just say a few lines, an excerpt from something that he's written. He wrote, "I've experienced times so difficult, felt broken and loneliness to such a degree that it felt like something physical inside of me. Something physical inside of me, so intense that it felt like it was choking me, like it was trying to suck the sanity out of my mind, squeeze the spirit out of my soul, the life out of my body." And he continues, "Had I known in 1987 that I would spend the next quarter of a century in solitary confinement, I would certainly have killed myself. And if it had taken 1 month for me to die, and I spent every minute in severe pain, it seems that on balance would still have been a better fate than what I endured over the last 25 years. So that gives you an example of what solitary confinement is like for a human being. Let's take another example. Imagine being forced to watch the rape or murder of someone very close to you, like your child, your parent, your partner. It's too horrible to imagine, and yet this is something that many people have been forced to endure in conflict zones. But it's not just humans, animals too. Animals are forced to endure very similar experiences on a massive scale. Let me give you a few examples. Can you imagine what it would be like for an animal to spend its entire life in a cage, a narrow cage that can scarcely move? This is the actual real-life experience of billions of animals, like pigs and chickens, that are raised for human consumption, for meat, for eggs, for milk. Or imagine an animal like a cow or a pig or a lamb that's watching its relatives and its friends being slaughtered while it waits there in terror for its turn. And remember, all these animals, they feel emotions like we do. Pigs are as smart as dogs. If you're a pet dog, you can imagine what it would be like for your dog to be in that situation. That's probably what it would be like for you. Okay, so enough examples. If we had to, we wouldn't be able to function, we wouldn't be able to thrive in our daily lives if we felt the full emotional weight of these experiences in our daily lives. You know, when I was walking over here, I was thinking that, I had an emotional moment, and I was thinking that if I really allowed myself to feel the emotions behind these words, I would have trouble giving this talk. But the reality is still out there. The reality doesn't disappear just because we turn away from it and shift our attention elsewhere. And so even though we need to avoid the paralysis of empathetic overload, we still need to take into account that reality. We need to take full account of the reality when we make our decisions and set our priorities in society. You know, ethics, when it really comes down to it, is about extending our circle of compassion to embrace all sentient beings with the capacity for suffering. And not only that, but to take active steps to alleviate that suffering. And the greatest urgency lies in the most extreme situations, the intense suffering that nobody would ever agree to experience themselves, intense suffering that screams out for attention. Now you might wonder, is there any amount of happiness that somehow makes all that suffering bearable? Is there any kind of balance between suffering and happiness that is somehow something that we can accept? There's a philosopher named David Pierce, and he's written a quote which I find very pertinent. No amount of happiness found enjoyed by some organisms can notionally justify the indescribable horrors of Auschwitz. In other words, nobody should be sacrificed to extreme torture just so that others can derive pleasure. And the same point was made in a short story by Ursula Le Guin. The story is called Ones Who Walk Away from All of Us. And the story describes a utopian city where people live blissful lives in a just light atmosphere. But all this bliss depends on the suffering of one single child who's forced to live a life of misery in a dark dungeon. And as information filters out and people become aware of that situation, more and more they find the situation unbearable. And those are the ones who walk away from all of us. So I would argue that the balance to be found is not in the external world, where any amount of world suffering is unacceptable. Rather, the balance is to be found within ourselves. How can I thrive as an individual while causing as little suffering as possible to others? And beyond that, how can I devote some of my time and my energy to alleviating some of the terrible suffering in the world? You know, a lot of the human suffering that's out there is due to the system we live in. And we're becoming more and more aware that we live in a corrupt, neoliberal system that channels wealth towards a rich elite, that leaves billions of people deprived of the most basic human needs, that incarcerates predominantly poor people for crimes they committed out of despair. And if we want to change the system, we're going to need new blueprints and new initiatives. And if you're not already part of such an initiative, you can support existing initiatives by putting power of your signature, your vote, your voice, your physical presence. But the widespread torture of animals, is a modern-day Holocaust, carefully hidden away from view within our civilized society. And this is a tragedy that we all seek to impact more directly. How? Well, the first way is by more conscious eating habits. That means remaining aware of the reality that's out there, and being honest with ourselves about the link between what we eat and what that may imply for other conscious creatures. Now, you know, food is very much part of our life, it's part of our culture, and it's understandable that there's a lot of cognitive dissonance when we try to imagine changing our eating habits. And you know, to be honest, from my own personal experience, even after writing a book on ethics, it still took me some time until I could confront the contradiction in my life, and I finally moved towards a plant-based diet. But I can tell you it's easier now than ever before to eat plant-based. And it can be tried out, you can shift towards it rapidly. It's not the kind of thing where anyone's looking out to see if you're sticking to standards of moral purity. You don't need to beat yourself by a rigid commitment from one day to the next. Potentially dozens of animals will be spared lives of misery. And in addition, you'll be reducing your footprint on the environment, and you'll also be embracing a healthier lifestyle that can potentially have healthy years to your life. Now, beyond your individual dietary choices, another thing you can do is to raise awareness of suffering in every opportunity you have, and to support effective organizations and support effective organizations and legislation that are protecting animals. Well, basically, what I'd like to just wrap up by saying is that reducing suffering in the world is not compatible at all with thriving. And the more that you thrive, the more energy you'll have to make a difference in the world. And just to finish off, I'd like to say, I would really like to see my work emerge as a hub for compassionate change and be the base for a movement that promotes a gentler world with less suffering. And I think you can see from the other speakers here that there are many ways we can thrive without causing suffering in the world. And I'd like us all to work together in concrete ways to bring that vision into reality. Thank you.
Jonathan Ligton.
Oh yeah.
What were you saying?
I saw. What does it say in the beginning? Co-founder of Extinctionist Rebellion.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that the same guy who had that speech?
It might be. Maybe not, though.
Right? Because it's beyond bad. So we're all in this together. Extinction Rebellion is, we're all crew, right? It's not like I've got all the answers.
Maybe it's... Maybe Jonathan Ligton's the founder of it, and he was just a different speaker. I don't know, I'm entirely sure.
I'm saying it because I'm also like a social scientist, and I did a PhD, and I'm still doing a PhD, but it doesn't look like I'm going to finish it because I'm too busy. But in the middle, I started this PhD, and it was like how to basically cause trouble effectively. That's the sort of joke title of it. It's a bit basically.
Interesting. Well, I think I'm going to go to sleep here in a bit. So, any final comments or anything like that before I close out the live stream?
No, I think we covered a lot of stuff already. I don't think I need to have any like final comments. But,
Yeah, I agree.
Good night and take care.
Yeah, good night, Seb. Have a good morning.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Ciao. Take care.